Facebook Live on YouTube. And
Travis, is there any way you can mute that and then just unmute whenever you talk?
I can try.
Because it's really coming through pretty loud, actually.
Send him a text also to ask him to turn it down a bit because he's upstairs with it. So.
okay. All right. We are good on Facebook, good on YouTube.
And we're good on Twitch.
All right. Here we go. Oh no. There he goes.
It's all you, Ross.
I think he's frozen.
Oh no.
Oh
It's a
no.
moment for
All
the
right,
show,
so I'll say
everybody.
it. The real Super Geeks. I don't say it as well as Ross does, but Ross, are you going to give it a try?
Ross?
Oh,
Ross.
poor man. That poor man.
Well, welcome to the start of the show, everybody. As you can see, it's gotten off to a wonderful start.
Wonderful start. Well, welcome.
Remember, we're all
to-
completely professionals here. We don't talk over anybody else. We don't.
Oh no.
Our
Hey,
intros are
professionals-
always immaculate.
Professionals
And we're
talk
always
over
on
each
time.
other all the time.
And
Take a
we
gander at
always-
MSNBC, Fox, or CNN all the time. So we're right
Those
in
are
the
professionals.
Yeah. Well, yes, they get paid, so they're professionals. So, folks at home, welcome to this episode of the
Am I
Real Super
stable?
Geeks podcast. Yes, you're stable now. Do you want to do your thing? Maybe he's not stable.
Oh no.
Now you should be taking screenshots, Justin.
I'm laughing.
Oh jeez.
Okay,
Ross,
so
give me a hug.
yeah,
So,
aw.
Virtual hug.
Ross recently had a date with Murphy and his law.
Oh yeah, Murphy. He's a terrible legislator. That's all I'm going to have to say about that. Aw, nice smile though. Okay, we're going to
See,
press on, folks, and
That's a MASH screenshot right there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect screenshot.
Okay, it is Friday, April 16th. In a parallel universe, this would be the day after tax day. But that's not the universe we live in now. We're in the universe of 2020 part 2. All right, so we have a lot of topics we're going to be covering this week. Normally, we would have had our the dulcet tones of our regular announcer announce some of those topics, but well, as you can see, his internet isn't great tonight. So if he does get it stable later, we'll have him do it just for, consistency's sake.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so let's go ahead and meet the rest of our co-hosts this week. And we're going to start with Ross just because we're going to test out his internet connection. So we call him the Eyebrows of Doom, but in the real world, his name is Ross Bullock. Ross, apart from your shaky internet, how are you this week?
Tired as hell. Coming on the end of the semester, so it's midnight oil every night trying to get everything done, plus responsibilities at home. Assembling a shelf turned into redecorating today, so yay.
Please tell me it wasn't an IKEA shelf. I don't think you're going to be able to tell me. Okay, let's move on. And next, we're going to introduce...
That's another MASH screenshot, by the way.
Yeah, it's
End
another...
of the episode MASH
It's an amazing
screenshot.
smile.
Yeah, those were famous end of the episode freezes. I remember that. So since you pointed that out, son, let's find out how you are this week, and most importantly, Where the hell are you, son?
Welcome to the real Super Geeks. I thought I'd do it just for Ross.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Am I in a
You can see his
parallel
reaction to
universe?
that.
So I went to the retina doctor today to get my eyes checked out. And after poking and prodding, I can barely see anything. So I thought I'd give you guys all the same treatment. Can you barely see anything?
I can bet. Is that a pineapple? It looks like a pineapple.
No, it's a potted plant on top of a forge. And
Oh,
a lantern on top of a forge.
Okay.
I'm currently in the land of 7 days to die.
All right. Well, and not the land of pineapples, apparently.
No, there are no pineapples under this sea.
Is that Saria's server?
Yep.
Wow. It really does. Am I wrong? Does that look like a pineapple, folks?
I
Which-
don't see that at all. I see very much a chimney stove, like not stove.
Well,
fireplace.
It's a forge.
Blow me up, Justin. Blow me up. I know I don't say that often, but blow me up. There you go.
Oh, okay. That way it's a little less pineapple-y. In the smaller version, because Sun Seal covers the fire part of it. So all I see is the pineapple body part. Okay. Well, since Travis doesn't see the world the way I do, apparently, he gets to go next. And of course, he is joined by our mascot is probably not the best. Our favorite super geek, Lane, not Mirror Lane, our Lane, and Travis. How are you guys doing this week?
Aside from some very, very specific instances of anxiety hitting due to a lot of loud noise at work, the last few days have actually been pretty good for the most part.
Oh, that's good to
actually
hear.
in a pretty peppy mood. I'm kind of out of it right now because I've got a massive headache that came out of nowhere. But yeah, the last few days have been very nice. It snowed this morning though.
Oh,
That
well, that's not bad. Hey, is Lane? Could we call Lane your support Pokemon?
Oh yeah,
You know, you might-
definitely.
Is that like an
Port
accurate?
plushie. It's the port plushie.
He's more than a plushie, Justin.
He's
More than a
alive.
plushie. He's a person. He's a person, Justin. All right. Oh, he's giving you the eye, man. We're gonna move quickly
He's
to
alive.
Raina because
We lives
Lane,
matter.
Lane has feelings, and you hurt them.
really, Justin, you.
Don't you know, like, did you not remember what Jason said like weeks ago? He still hasn't gotten over that. Just saying.
Really?
Well,
Hey, speaking of which, why do we have no Jason this week?
He
Because
is in
he's
Vegas.
murdered.
Yeah,
He's been murdered by Mirror Lane.
that might explain it because apparently Lane did not take that
in Vegas.
well.
Living it up and apparently not visiting one pantsless O'Halloran who tried to join us tonight but was on the road and apparently
Yeah,
had no internet connection.
his internet connection. Sorry, folks at home.
One
No.
bit of
Yes.
sorry.
Go
One
ahead,
bit of
Travis.
good news is I am getting my first dose of the vaccine on Monday.
Yay.
Congratulations!
Wait.
I get my second one a week from tomorrow.
I get mine on the 25th.
Oh, the day after me. So that's cool. Awesome. Well,
Like that
welcome
thread.
to our
Vaccine, yay.
welcome to our newest co-host, Raina Cannon, which the last name is the perfect last name for any real super geek. So, Raina, welcome. And how are you this week?
I am doing wonderful this week. I actually finished my college semester this time. I'm off for the summer.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
And Lane Lane and Travis got me down the rabbit hole of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So I'm on
yes.
episode 15.
When we get to the Star Trek portion of the show, we'll check in with you to see how that's going so far.
Also, hello to our audience who are already starting out strong. Andrew.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hello, Andrew.
Andrew's here.
You know, I was trying to hide the chemistry station, but apparently you found it.
Oh, you can see it bubbling like there's a beaker.
That's actually a lantern. The physics in this game are really weird. You can place an object on top of the hole that exists in the forge, and it will sit there.
Like a potted plant or a beaker.
She's investing in the show in a very unique way.
See, if I actually had the footage, I would show you the chemistry station because it does look like a meth lab.
She's doing science.
It's science.
It's literally a steel barrel with a fire under it and like coils going everywhere.
All right. Well, let's get to our last but not least co-host, and that is our stalwart producer, Justin Burton. Justin, how are you doing this week?
I am doing pretty good. I got doctor's appointment Monday. As you know, I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So,
I'm sure you'll be fine. Apparently, it's
only affecting a certain number of people. Which, I mean, because of my health issues, they want to be safe and make sure nothing's going awry. But hey, why not? Other than that, I've been doing pretty good.
All right. Well, good to hear. Well, let's dive into this week's topic. We're going to start off, of course, as we traditionally do, with our Star Trek topics of the week. And the breaking news this week, which was just yesterday, was that a guest star on Star Trek Strange New Worlds showed up on set and failed their COVID-19 test, which has resulted in the crew being quarantined for, I'm not quite sure how long, but they're saying that production is not impacted, which I think means they can stay there, but they can't go home or something like that.
Do we know which test was administered? Because those things are still not completely accurate.
That is a good question, and that's probably why it's a quarantine rather than a shutdown. But
I wonder which guest.
The story doesn't say which test or what type of test
or who it was,
and also does not say who it was because, of course, they don't want to shame anybody.
Wait, Andrew's got rock candy. Can I have some?
Oh, I love rock candy.
That's not what he means.
Oh,
that's not what he means.
He's talking about meth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Brenda's comment on there?
Yeah, you could see that's it's funny you mentioned that because you actually make grain alcohol in that thing in this game.
Oh wow. Well then there you go. You called that one right on the money, Brenda. You win the internet this week.
Wait, Brenda. -1 to Andrew.
Okay, so the good news out of this, of course, is that Strange New Worlds is deep into its production of its first season. So that is very exciting. And the fact that overall the production is not impacted timeline-wise is also good news. So so I hope the quarantine goes well for the affected crew and no one actually comes down with it. And we still get our Star Trek. At some point, we still don't have a release date for Strange New Worlds, but
just sometime in 2022 is all we've heard. I think so far.
Yeah. God, that feels like it's so far away, but it'll be here before we know it, right? So that takes us to our second topic for the week, and that is also sort of about Strange New Worlds, but also about evolving Q for his upcoming appearance in Star Trek Picard's second season. And there is the pantsless wonder, Sean O'Halloran.
Oh, I hope this goes well because the audio has been just crap for me this time around. Hi guys, how you doing?
Good. Where are you exactly, Sean?
At least the video's stable.
I think I'm about 30 or 40 miles away from the Nevada border in Arizona, and here's a couple of crazy homeless guys right here.
Awesome.
So
find out if they're Star Trek fans.
I'm
Florida man.
They seem like they could be Florida man, but like Arizona's version of Florida man.
Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
transplant.
Speaking of Florida men in Nevada, are you going to track down Jason Kovalik, aka Ensign Birase, who apparently is at your house or something?
Yeah, he's in town. Yeah, I've gotta figure out what he wants to do tomorrow, because I'm sure he and Silas and I assume Silas is with them. I assume Silas is going to want to meet up with Harrison at some point.
His buddy Harrison.
Yeah, I mean,
The first episode of their podcast together.
Oh my god, amazing!
Oh no.
Well, I don't know if people realize this, but over the past year, Silas and Harrison, my son and Jason's son, we hooked them up over Facebook Messenger, and they became really good friends. They're like best friends, and they're constantly tag teaming in Minecraft and now Fortnite and all this, and in Roblox and all this stuff. And they're kind of like inseparable, even though they're hundreds of miles away. And to the point yesterday that I was getting yelled at my wife because Silas won't stop calling while Harrison's supposed to be in class. I'm like, I'll have to talk to his dad, okay? Jeez.
It's like a forced marriage that worked from the beginning.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
well, this bodes well for our Super Geeks, our planned Super Geeks spin-off show, Super Tots, featuring the children and children adjacent members of our various families also geeking out.
Right.
And
I liked how Jason was bitching today. I'm in Vegas. I can't find a fucking Uber anywhere.
What surprised me that I never have an issue.
Seriously, Vegas has like a bazillion Ubers.
They just didn't like him.
Right, because what I do is like, look, I don't drive to the airport. Fuck that. I just take an Uber. It's cheaper than parking there when I got to do long-term parking. And on the other hand, with conventions and shit. Look, when I go to CES, you try to find parking there within a 5-mile radius. Forget it. So I just Uber it. And I've never had an issue. It's like, one time they come here to just hang out. They can't find an Uber. I feel so bad. It's like so terrible. But yeah, as far as Silas and Harrison goes, it's really funny how similar their personalities are, and how they just click. It's like you hear them talk, and I'm like, oh fuck, they should be doing a podcast right now. Why are they just gaming here? They should be.
You know what you're going to have to do. You need to send Jason's kid the horse head.
Oh yeah,
that's a little extreme, I think.
It's a rubber horse head mask, and John's kid had a plastic.
You didn't see what happened? Carlos, you missed it. I thought you would have seen it because I was tagged in it. Yeah, so my wife opens a fridge, and there's a rubber unicorn head in the fridge.
I've seen that rubber unicorn head.
Yeah, it was in the fridge. It was just sitting there looking at her when she opened the fridge. That was Hayden. That
of course, I was going to say that's a total Hayden move.
Right, I got to explain to people that you got to understand how it works is that Harrison is the very serious one and Hayden is the comic one. So they're like a team. Harrison's the unintentional straight man of the comedy team. So the gags are all Hayden.
I've seen them in action and they're brilliant.
Yep.
They're the reincarnation of Abbott and Costello.
Kind of.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm getting messages, by the way, from people, Sean, who are wondering whether or not you're wearing pants.
I am, but only for the time being because I was going to step out to the gas station to go use the restroom, but the crazy homeless guy, I mean, was really, he may not be homeless, but he's definitely crazy. I know that because he was having a really good conversation with no one there a moment ago.
So Sean's actually afraid to take off his pants at this point.
I mean, that's what we deal with daily.
Unless he's doing his own version of On the Waterfront and practicing the one-man show.
He might just be an unemployed actor who is preparing for an audition.
It could be, but it's a little scary. So I'm gonna take a stop at the next restroom I find. And until then, I will try to join you guys. But my audio is really crappy. So if it how do I sound on your end? Do I sound okay?
You sound
a lot better. It's a lot better than you were on the road.
Okay, well, when I hear from you guys, it's very choppy when I hear from you guys. So as long as you guys can hear me, I'm okay. I'll wing it with what I hear from you.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right.
Sean O'Halloran.
All right. So what are we doing? What's going on? Anything exciting happening in the last 5 minutes or so?
Star Trek.
Are you asking us? Star Trek stuff. We were talking about Strange New Worlds being their crew being potentially hit with COVID, and we were about to move to a discussion of an interview that Akiva Goldsman, gave regarding Picard and Strange New Worlds. He is, of course, going to be or has been directing the pilot episode for Strange New Worlds, and he gave the Hollywood Reporter an interview in which he talked about how that's coming together, whose idea it was to even make a series called Strange New Worlds, and also talking about my favorite, aka not favorite, Star Trek character Q, who of course is being brought back for Star Trek Picard season 2. That's the dude, and if he looks like that, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, but that's the best version of him.
Yes.
No, I like him when he's wearing Starfleet uniforms because he's like mocking them.
That's the whole point of him wearing the judge's outfit.
Yes, but it's just a ridiculous costume.
Exactly. That was the whole point of it when it was like the Earth thing too.
Well, sure, but this is now 30 years later, and it just looks ridiculous.
Of course it does. just like the judge's outfit looks ridiculous in the new version of Judge Dredd.
Oh, I've not seen the new version of Judge Dredd.
It still looks like a ridiculous outfit.
Okay.
New Judge Dredd is awesome, though.
Well,
it's a lot better than the Stallone version. But my God, that outfit is still tacky as hell.
Oh yeah, indisputable.
I guess Ross is still having problems.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
I don't know if you other Star Trek news. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I don't know if you're familiar with the toy company Super 7. They're kind of they've been pretty big for quite a few years now for doing retro figures. They are launching a line of Star Trek figures, and in their reaction series. If you guys aren't familiar with the reaction series, they're basically action figures that are designed like the same style as the 1970s and 80s kind of Star Wars figures. So there's the first wave of 6 figures of Trek figures that come out. I think they're all next gen, and they come out I think the next couple of months. I think they come out in June. So guys, I don't know if you guys had known about that, but we are getting some new Star Trek figures. So yay!
Yay for toys.
And then there's also was a leak on the Star Trek Picard set earlier this week where somebody was lucky enough to stumble upon them filming a scene outside where they're shooting at there in L.A., I assume.
Yes,
where Picard is seen with a synth.
With a synth.
Okay, and I'll think of something else too. And I don't know how this hasn't been leaked out any further. There is I'm in a group called Geek Dads, and there's a guy who lives in LA who's driving past something, and he spotted a crew hanging a banner. It looks like a Starfleet banner, but it's got like the Starfleet has like those leaves on it that go up, those ivy leaves, like the United Nations.
Oh, the laurels.
Yes. Laurels,
yeah. Right. Okay. He's got those, but they're in red, and it's like different. And the speculation is that it has something to do with Mars, and it's clearly from Star Trek, whatever they're filming. And we know it's not from Strange New Worlds or from Discovery because it's in LA. And LA is where Picard is shot.
That's right.
So I'll find that for you in my group, and I'll share it with you guys. We can take a look and figure out what's going on with that.
Indeed.
Well, maybe the synths moved to Mars to fix the damage that they did.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a part of the storyline that really felt abandoned in the first season. I think would be served better if it was addressed again. Definitely.
Although it doesn't look like it's on Mars because they're out in the open with no like spacesuits or anything.
Well, right, exactly. I don't think it's on Mars, but I think it has to do with the Mars.
Oh, probably,
there.
yeah. It makes sense because
Right.
it's exactly those kind of synths. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely not on Mars because they weren't filming out at Vasquez Rocks.
yeah, of course.
Exactly.
And did anyone notice, by the way, Justin? Did you happen to get a chance of that to get that copy of that photo?
I don't have it, but let me see.
Picard is wearing quite the swashbuckling.
He's wearing a Romulan outfit. Looks like.
Is it Romulan? It just looked like kind of like a pirate uniform. Actually, it was kind of cool. Very sort of leathery from.
Leathery. Wait, is that privateer uniform he had from that archaeology episode?
No, this one was much more detailed.
Yeah,
Well,
it's pretty. I mean, it's a very sort of contemporary look. So,
I mean, it would be interesting if it was a modern take on that outfit for sure.
I honestly don't remember what that outfit looked like. Actually,
I like how we've completely forgotten about talking about Q.
Well, that was Carlos's plan all along.
Exactly.
You did it. Good job.
Well, you know, if you would like to talk about Q, Travis and Lane, now is a good time.
Lane, do you want to talk about Q?
No.
What is there to even say about Q? The whole
That
point
they need to evolve him, quote unquote, in order to make him fit in with the very different tone of Star Trek Picard.
No, they don't. They just need to cut out all the They just need to cut out all the outrageousness of Q. Like all of the serious and important stuff of Q is already in Q.
I agree. Totally agree. I'm totally with Son on this. Just you don't have to evolve him. You cut out the flop. I agree. You keep the serious parts of Q totally, and you're good. I totally agree with that.
Well, isn't that an evolution?
Well, it's not
No,
of the writing of him, I guess.
It's not really an evolution so much as it is a cleaving of the character.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for that.
Hello, Beard Fosse.
Fine.
Is Carlos bitching about Q again?
Beard Fosse. Yes, I am. Then thanks for tuning in, Jason. Feel free to. It looks Romulan, says Beard
Hey,
Fosse.
Jason, do you have the picture? You post the link in the Super Geek chat, and I'll post it up.
Trying to see if I can find it.
I can't find it.
But he looked really cool. Like way to look cool, Picard.
I'm a rad dude.
Exactly.
My name's Jean-Luc Picard, and I'm cool.
Okay, it looks like the bourbon is starting to get to Travis.
I am not drinking bourbon.
Hey, is Greg in the chat?
No. Oh, I don't know if he's in the chat. We haven't seen him.
I sent him a message to see if he wanted to pop on, but yes.
I'm sure he'll
Not
listen in.
respond.
You want to say something to him?
Who, Greg?
Yeah.
No, I like Greg. Greg keeps us honest. He keeps us on our toes. That's why I like him.
I
No,
was
Greg's-
kind of hoping to get him on that, but he hasn't responded.
Yeah, we were unable to find him. Sorry, Greg. You missed your shot. Okay.
He's
I'm
like
not fine.
Clinton
Oh,
Infinity
no.
War. He's off cutting his wood or something. I don't know.
Okay, so let's do a quick hot take / poll about Picard. Given we talked a little bit about this last week because we did the analysis, the apparently frame by frame analysis of the Picard teaser. But now that we've had some time to let it settle in and for us to think about it, I'd love to find out from each of you, do you think there's going to be a major DS9 related storyline this season in Star Trek Picard? And we will start with Travis and Lane, because I love Lane. No? Even with all the DS9 related hints we saw, Easter eggs we saw in the teaser?
I touched base on this briefly when talking about Kira Nerys and the protagonist countdown. As much as I would love to see a lot of DS9 revisited right now in the current era of Star Trek, I really don't think it's necessary, because DS9 has closure. DS9 had development, and the reason why Voyager characters and whatnot are being revisited and it works is because they didn't get that same luxury. It feels like there's more to be seen from these characters, and there's more to be seen from that particular show and whatnot. But DS9, I feel like, I honestly believe that it is something that should be, like, if they there are things I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing Ezri Dax developed a bit more, because she was, she only had that one season, and a lot of that development was kind of forced. But in terms of like major development or whatnot, I just don't really see it as necessary or like happening. I just don't really see it.
Sean, are you going to say something?
I think that when we're talking about Deep Space Nine in reference to the artifact that was in that trailer, I think Travis might be looking at the wrong perspective. I think this is. Oh,
we got a fire alarm.
Fire alarm.
Another fire alarm at Justin's.
another disco night at Justin's.
Yeah.
Do the hustle.
Oh God, I was alive when the hustle was a thing. There it is. That is the one. Look at what he's wearing. That's kind of hot. I don't need that kind of hot, bitches. I mean, it's a cool costume.
Do you know what that outfit is?
No.
It looks like Shinzon's costume.
Partly, but it also reminds me of the Hopeless Causes people, Elnor's people.
The Kawat Nalat.
The Kawat Nalat.
They have hoods. They have like very distinctive hoods. And we did see, by the way, a bunch of Kawat Nalat in the Discovery Season 4 trailer, if you recall.
Yeah. Ooh, I missed that. I am so ready for it.
Yeah, it's they're in at least 2 of the shots I remember seeing in that trailer. You should give it a revisit and tell us what you think, Travis and Lane. Just because I know Lane is interested in it too. Of course he is. Yeah, well, I think it's a cool uniform or costume, whatever. I hope it's significant about something. As an alternative to your observation, Travis, while I agree with you completely that I think story-wise and character-wise, we got a lot of resolution with Deep Space Nine, within its own series, but I don't think we should write off kind of the piece of the Star Trek universe or pieces of the Star Trek universe that DS9 contributed. I mean, while the Cardassians, for example, were introduced on TNG, they were really fleshed out in DS9. Same with the Bajorans. And, we've already seen who we think is the president of the Federation, who's a Bajoran Cardassian mix. Yeah. And then we see the artifact. And so, insofar as the world of Star Trek is concerned, seeing those kinds of references to DS9, I think it makes it feel like a more complete universe.
And I agree with that. I just don't know if it'll be a major part of the story.
I think who knows? It's a little bit. Here's the thing. You got to remember what the artifact is from. It's from the episode Rapture. Is that correct? I believe
it's the Ascension. No, wait.
The Ascension. Okay.
The
The Reckoning. Okay.
Never mind.
Reckoning.
Right. That's that one with the battle between the Power Wraith and the Prophet, right? If I recall correctly, where
Power Wraith comes out of it.
Right, the Power Wraith comes out of it and it takes over Jake or Kira. Jake and Kira wind up fighting, if I recall correctly, right? Is that how that one rolled?
It's been a while. I have to watch it.
Yeah, I'd have to watch
The
it.
Power
again.
Wraith takes over Jake, and Kira takes on the Prophet.
Got it. There we go.
Woo!
Okay.
Fight! A prophet and a Power Wraith.
Exactly. And okay, so my point on this is that I think a lot more to do with the prophets and the Power Wraiths than anything else. DS9 shit aside, okay, the rest of that storyline aside, it's my favorite series. In fact, I'm back doing a rewatch, and I'm reminded that I'm trying to figure out, first of all, why the first season is so hated. Because I'm watching this and I'm going, there's some really good episodes here. I don't really understand all the
There are.
Dude, like early DS9 is so criminally underrated. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
Well,
I'm so glad we're on the same page.
There's no stinkers, but there's a lot of like not sure where they're going kind of things. Like the whole circle thread that was second season, I think. I thought that was brilliant.
Season.
It was a great arc.
Yeah, I thought that was a great arc.
Yeah.
And I love the original. What was her name? Kaiopaka. She was the best. I love the way she was
awesome.
She would grab people's ears. Like if you look, every time she grabs someone's ears to like sense their paw, like she grabs it hard and everyone kind of winces in pain a little bit. Like go back and look at the pilot and look at Cisco when she does it. Like she does it with force. She's fierce. She's a fierce Kai.
Yep.
I know we found out a couple of seasons later she was a collaborator.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's of course it's stories like that make Deep Space Nine so fucking great.
Yeah, but, because the good guys and bad guys aren't quite super well defined. Some people cross into both.
You look at Battle Lines, which is the episode that she left to stay on that planet. I fucking love that episode. That is such a great Star Trek episode.
The Innis and Null Innis.
And what was the other one I saw today? I was watching Dax, which is the episode where she gets she gets called in to answer for the crimes of the other Dax.
Yes.
And it's really well done. It asks so many questions about, kind of like how far should somebody be held responsible for the actions of their family and things like that, and the ethical issues involved. And it really, like I said, I've yet to find a stinker, and I'm very early off in season 1 again. I'm yet to find a stinker so far. Despite all the claims about it. So I think anytime that you can touch on Deep Space Nine and do it in a way that doesn't overtake what Picard is, I think it's a positive thing. We're getting into some really deep metaphysical territory here when it comes to where Picard is right now.
It definitely, they raise all those issues. I hope that they explore them, frankly.
Right, exactly. Right. I mean,
let's hear from some other folks. Raina, you want to weigh in? Oh, you haven't really watched DS9 yet. You're still on TNG.
I'm still on TNG, yeah.
Okay, we'll get back around to you in a year. Actually, it'll be before that. You'll catch up fast.
Oh yeah.
Son, where do you stand on this?
It's really I think the metaphysical aspect of what Picard is less something that could be explored through DS9 or through DS9 as like a way station for whatever they're doing this season. I
doubt they will actually show DS9 though. Is that? I mean, I was referring to the show, not the actual.
Yeah, right. No, that's what I mean. Like, I don't see them using the show of Deep Space Nine as like a trail marker for whatever they're doing that season. I don't see it that way. The way that I see this going personally, it seems like, because we talked about the speculation of time travel and all that kind of stuff, because Q and Guinan and all that kind of stuff. This could be a different history for Bajor to allow one of the Cardassian orphaned to be, the head of the Federation of Planets.
Oh, brainwave. If you're finished, son.
Go ahead.
And by the way, Travis and Lane, I want to recognize the return of the fidget spinner. Always welcome.
I mean,
Please continue.
I always have this thing with me. We were talking last week a lot about potential, like the teaser talking about time being the final frontier, and one thing that just came to me is that in the pilot episode of BS9, the prophets don't really know what linear time is, and if the prophets do have a role in this season, a lot of this may be quote unquote timeless.
Interesting. Let's see. Oh, I would love to hear what Justin thinks, but Justin's not with us at the moment.
Beep.
Oh, wait, because of fire alarm, I think Picard is going to try and undo. He is a very resourceful man. Undo the damage the synths did to Mars with time travel. He feels he's on the right path and cues in the mix. Is that what George would say? What do you guys think George would predict?
I didn't know George well enough.
George would say it's all about the prophets in this season. It's all about the prophets.
And normally I would say that is not a path they should go down.
Picard
George apparently is right about these things.
Now, George
Picard will go to the prophets, and he'll be able to, because he is the character that he is now as a synth, he'll be able to experience the unlinearness that is the prophet's view of time. And just like the Nexus, Picard will have a second chance to undo all the damage he did.
I'm not a big fan of undoing damage. Like, the damage is part of who he is, But who knows? I mean, some of that makes sense. Some of it George would also agree with, and some of it George has got a pretty good on big gimmicky things like that. George has got a very excellent record.
Well, see, that's the thing. As much as we all said no to George is great at getting into the minds of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's just really bad at the timing of when it's going to happen.
Yes, he is. Picard could feel bad about the whole thing.
Justin.
No, now
it's just we can make out what you're saying, but it's like really loud.
I know.
Maybe if George were here, this is my guess of what George would say. And feel free to say I'm stupid for saying this. He'd probably say that Batman's going to have a cameo in this season.
That is not an
plot twist.
Yeah,
it's actually Picard that's Batman.
Oh boy. Okay. I think that's where we're going to leave that one for now. We'll come back to Tapestry, but with synths. Maybe that's not far off. I don't think that's undoing Mars, but I think that's an interesting. I could see something like that happening. We'll see. It has something to do with that suit, though. I'm telling you, it's a nice suit. Okay, so you gamer types on the panel tonight, have you had a chance to check out the new Star Trek Legends game on Apple Arcade? Are you planning on it? I am. I haven't tried it out yet, but I am planning on it. And I don't normally. Well, I do subscribe to Apple Arcade, so I have been playing.
I think Carlos is dead. Everybody's dying tonight.
Why is everybody dying tonight?
Professionalism.
I think we should have just. Yeah, I think we should have 2 hours of just Justin's fire alarm.
Oh God. This is
So-
just this is our life now, everybody. This
So
is
so
the end of the Super Geeks.
the only person here who is going to be playing this game is Carlos.
I plan on checking it out. I have someone that has actually subscribed to that service, and I've actually been looking at it, and it's probably the least monetized mobile game I've ever seen. It's
Really?
yeah, it's really, and the gameplay actually looks good. Like, it's weird because I'm so anti-mobile when it comes to gaming, but when I saw that on the Trello of topics we were going to talk about, I decided to look it up, and it's really like not bad at all. Like, it actually looks like something enjoyable to mess around with, especially as a Star Trek fan. For you guys, no monetization, gameplay is smooth. It doesn't like stonewall you every chance it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying that the game itself, the only thing that's up with it is it's buggy right now. But from what people are saying is they're fixing it like very quick with updates. So I think it's promising for mobile.
Oh my god, I can talk. Yay!
They actually
Yay!
ended the fire alarm on time instead of after 2 hours.
It is
My
techno
gosh.
chaos apparently tonight on the Real Super Geeks.
So, looking at this image for the game, it reminds me a lot of what the BBC did with Thunderbirds Argo when they redid Thunderbirds Argo.
You're not talking about the live action one, are you?
No. I'm talking about they created a new series of Thunderbirds, and it
With the
was like
puppets?
3D modeled instead of on
Okay.
marionettes.
No. Still talking about the Star Trek game. Yeah, I mean, it looks good, but sadly to say it's only on iOS, not Android. And,
Okay.
I'm an Android user.
I think
so-
they have a deal with Apple. That's why it's not monetized like it is. I think because it looks like the game was originally designed around monetization, but there's none now. So it looks like originally they had in mind, like, okay, we're going to have some kind of paid mechanic. I think there's some exclusivity there with Apple because it's not on other platforms right now. So
Yeah, I think that's part of it, and you're right. I mean, one of the things that reviews for this game have pointed out is that one of the best parts of it is that it's just the game. There's no attempt at monetization that is often just distracting and
that corrupts
Yeah,
mobile
you know
games
what,
at an alarming rate.
Yes.
And, I've got to feel bad that Ross ain't here.
It looks
Love this
solid.
topic.
The game
Um,
itself looks fun.
But yeah, I
Maybe I'll have
agree.
to-
I hate monetization in games. It's the biggest drawback on games today because
I think
try
they-
to get into join something and then you have to they nickel and dime you to death on every little transaction that the order progress. Really kind of disheartening.
okay. Raina, go ahead and finish.
I think the argument here is I don't mind monetization, especially if I really like the game, if they're actively putting back into it. I do not like when a game just runs stagnant for like a year and they nickel and dime you, and that is what a lot of it is. But the systems here, it just looks buggy. But people are saying that it's like they're really working on fixing it. Like issues that are being addressed are like within a few days.
I'll have to see
that
if
they're
they try
coming
to
up. So I think it's an Apple exclusive for a reason. I don't think it was purely like they just chose that platform. I think Apple is putting money into it because there's no way that game looks like that was originally designed around monetization in some way, like that there's wait timers and things still, but there's no monetization. So I think it's an exclusive for a reason. I think Apple threw money at them like, look, Star Trek's a big license, be exclusive to our platform, because I wouldn't be surprised after a year or two if it's on other mobile devices by then and monetized. That's just my mindset.
Suck is. That's what I'm going to say to Android.
The
Suckies.
franchise where money doesn't exist getting monetized to hell.
Thank you, Mirror Lane. Doesn't he look attractive? He looks very attractive.
No, don't start.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Today, Friday, was the premiere of episode 5 of the latest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the next to last episode of the season, and they had teased they made a big tease about a big cameo in it from a significant Marvel Universe character. And I have to tell you that I heard this, and by the end of the episode, it's like, where's the cameo? And then I realized
the after credit.
No, the after credits don't really get to the cameo, not the important cameo.
I think what Carlos is talking about is Bucky calling in one last favor to Wakanda.
Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. I had to look up in other articles, and it was actually the appearance of the Contessa, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, of course, from Seinfeld fame. Elaine. I'm going to do my Elaine dance. The Contessa apparently is a big deal. Well, it not apparently is a big deal in the Marvel Comics universe, so now finally being introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and she is now employing John Walker for what we don't know.
Who we saw at the end of this episode making a new shield.
His own shield. Because, of course, he lost his shield in this episode. And what did we think of that?
He got his butt kicked way too easily.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Walker put up a hell of a fight.
He did.
Oh,
I felt actually like Bucky got beat up way too easily.
Yeah.
Like,
come on. Had him trapped between the shield and the wall. Like, I thought, oh, man. Like, if he's struggling this bad... Like, there was two of them. You got to think, like, even though Sam has no superpowers, he was handling them like they were nothing. Like, just non-existent at all for that first half of the fight.
Which really bothered me. I mean, it's like Bucky, he's 106 years old, folks. He's been a Winter Soldier for, what, 50 years? 40 years? Something like that? He should fight better than this guy who just barely got his super soldier serum.
Well, guys, I noticed an Easter egg, and I don't know if you guys picked it up. I don't know if anyone has picked it up. I had paused on the screen during the fight, and when Walker's face is zoomed in, where he's like got Sam in a chokehold on the ground, his face is red in an outline of a skull. So are they
Shut up?
Are they hinting that that's where it's headed? Because, you know, that's the whole big debate about good and evil. Like, there's like this moment where he has them and it's zoomed in. And I can't remember exactly what he was saying because it was kind of like, that's a like purposeful like outline on his face. You know, so I don't know if that's like an Easter egg that they're trying to do, but he seems like he's definitely going the route like, I just love his character in this. Like, I feel so like torn because I feel like it's a parody of like what United States soldiers go through. They're trained through all this stuff. They're put through all these limits, and politically they can be used as scapegoats and a lot. And I can see that. Like, I honestly felt bad for him still, even after all he's done.
Oh yeah. That scene between him and Lamar's parents was heartbreaking, actually, I thought. You know, what's the actor's name? Wyatt something? I'm blanking on his name. The guy who plays John Walker. It's Wyatt something. Anyway, he's brilliant. I mean, I think he's there. He can make you hate him or feel sorry for him or whatever. He's a very great actor in that role because as bad as he is, you can't feel that he's evil so much as just kind of misguided and tragic.
I actually,
Wyatt Russell, thank you.
During the introduction scene before the fight, when he was, you know, running, and the flashbacks of, you know, him, Lamar, and everything were happening, I was actually feeling legit sorry for the guy because he very much didn't feel like he was going corrupt. He felt more like he was asking, "What did I just do? Like, what have I done?" That kind of thing, rather than like, all right, this shield's mine and I'm going to go.
Well, he's clearly obsessed with the shield. Still.
Yeah, I mean, he is, but like in that moment, it very much like I was almost asking, like, are we going to see a potential redemption arc here? and then the fight happened.
I feel like the shield, what he was talking about, why he didn't want it taken away from him, like when he loses it and like, I am Captain America. It's exactly what Zemo was talking about. Mm-hmm. He's not John Walker anymore. He's the symbol. He's Captain America. That is what defines him. He's letting the symbol define him, and that's exactly what they've been fighting against the whole time. It's exactly what he foretold was going to happen.
Interestingly, the guy in the Marvel Universe who seems to have the best grasp on what's going on sort of psychologically with these superheroes and villains is Baron Zemo, I think.
I think we might see a redemption arc for Zemo and all this.
Fantastic send-off for
yes
him as well. I don't think they could have ended it any better with that. Like, it felt somber, but at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, you know what? I've done what I needed to do. And so, I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and he conducts himself with a certain amount of honor. Like, the way he regarded Bucky, when he said, I will not kill you, James. Basically saying, I respect you too much to kill you, even though I should kill you, maybe. I thought that was a great moment between the two of them. When Bucky has the gun like pointed at his head and he starts to pull the trigger and you're like, oh my God, he's actually going to do it, and click. Oh, did we put up spoiler alerts? Justin.
I mean, to be fair,
that's all right. Go ahead, Raina.
I was going to say symbolically, I think that's great. I mean, he's stoic. I mean, he comes from royalty. I mean, how many royal beheadings can you think of in history and everything like that? I think the biggest part of it all was when he tells Bucky, like, look, I don't have to kill, but I'm going to tell you right now, Carly is beyond saving. And like, they show that immediately. Like, she is just desperate.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real winner, no matter how this plays out. Walker, Carly, all of them, there's no one's going to end up winning at the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, Carly is in fact also a tragic figure. As much as John Walker is, which is it makes her and the Flag Smashers actually a pretty compelling set of antagonists, because they're not evil, even though they have done some evil things. They're not like intrinsically evil. They're fighting what they believe to be a profound injustice, and the fact that like all these people in the park that she signals are like ready to fight for her, gives you a sense that there are a lot of people, in fact, who, agree with her goals.
And not to mention, she's tenfold stronger now. Walker killed one of her own on just blasted across the world what he had did. Mm-hmm. It immediately put basically the whole United States government into question at that moment. I think how they set it up is it's smart. My friend actually made a good point, is that the story is not about picking a villain. It's about putting yourself in other people's shoes, because that's exactly what Sam is learning, that he's got to be his own person interpreting these situations. Because I even really liked when he went to, I think his name is Eli.
He's
in this episode. That's Isaiah. That's it. It's
Isaiah. Yeah.
It's a powerful moment. And it's like, look, the shield doesn't change anything. You're still you. Like, it doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, you're going to hold it, and it's not yours. It's what they're giving you. It's, there's no honor in it. You got to find your own path. And I think that's great, because he translates that well to put Bucky on his path.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great moment. But, that confrontation between Isaiah and Sam is, I think, really pivotal, because Isaiah basically says to him, I mean, he's not basically, he explicitly says to him, no, they will never let a black man be Captain America, and no self-respecting black man would. And that's a pretty direct challenge to Sam, because, finally in that whole conversation with his sister later, where he basically is saying, I don't agree with that exactly. And then, I mean, what do we think is in that Wakandan briefcase?
I think it's no wings.
No, I think, I totally think that Sam is getting a vibranium suit.
Vibranium.
That'd be cool.
Maybe a new vibranium suit in the Captain American colors.
Yeah, because you know what? They're actually onto something because that was in the trailer. The original trailer. He was wearing
That's
a red,
right.
white, blue suit at some point because they had the wings and everything. And I mean, Marvel, could obviously they mock up stuff all the time in their trailers, but that could be exactly what it is. I mean, he kind of shed his identity as the Falcon basically in this episode, like within the first 15 minutes. So,
because now
Well-
since he has the shield and he has the new suit, it's just
can we just say,
Put your microphone closer, Justin.
can I just say that seeing him train with the shield, that was probably one of the coolest moments I've seen in one of these Marvel TV shows.
Yes.
Like, he is fantastic. Like, I had no respect. Like, I wouldn't say no respect, but I just didn't really care about Sam. But this show, like, he's become one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like, really quick, because he's awesome and human. And that's something that's so rare in the MCU at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there for a minute they were going to give him the shield.
And honestly, like, kind of touching base on what you were just saying, feeling his character who you don't really, care about too much, suddenly just coming into the limelight and being someone extraordinary. I do believe that was kind of an element that WandaVision lacked. I mean, I've mentioned this before. Like, I have nothing against the Scarlet Witch and Vision, but through that entire show, while it was fun to watch, by the time it ended, I don't really have much of a reason to care about these characters still.
Well, you can feel how differently they're made, though, Travis. Like, you can actually see that WandaVision is nothing more than an extended trailer for Doctor Strange. And I that could be a hot take, but I'm a huge Scarlet Witch fan. House of M is, like, in my top favorite, like, top 5 easily of the best comics of all time.
I agree, although that's more of a X-Men thing than a, like, Avengers
Yeah, but I'm
thing.
saying, like, her as a character and what she's been through, I feel like WandaVision really took a lot of that away from her. And in fact, it did a little more damage in my eyes than anything, because they made this whole identity of the show based on one reveal at the end, where Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, this is like feels like it has no ties to later in the MCU, but still feels so much more important to those characters, to Bucky and to Sam. And I didn't get that in WandaVision. I don't care any more about the Scarlet Witch in terms of the MCU than I did with. I actually liked her in the movies better, which is funny, because the show is okay. It just, Falcon and the Winter Soldier feels significant as a project. You could tell there's, like, significant love for these characters in it. I didn't feel that with WandaVision.
Let's segue a little bit into the article that's our next topic, which is an article from inverse.com that makes the argument that WandaVision is the better of the two shows, which I completely disagree with. But it makes an interesting point, which is originally Marvel's plan was to air Falcon and the Winter Soldier first and WandaVision second.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, so I'm asking you guys, like, what would be different if it had if they'd been premiered in reverse order?
I think it would have been honestly, I would have thought that would have actually damaged WandaVision more if you had something as great as Falcon and the Winter Soldier first, and then going into WandaVision, it would feel like a complete step down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying WandaVision doesn't have artistic quality, because it is a very, like, fantastical from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the character goes, like, who cares? Like, I feel like you come out with something with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You don't come out with anything with WandaVision. I know a little bit more about what's going to happen in Doctor Strange too.
Good point. Travis and Lane.
I don't see why they would make that claim at all. I mean, I'm not really well versed in the MCU, so I don't know what is gained by airing the Falcon and Winter Soldier before WandaVision. there's really nothing to say there. I mean, I've been seeing the claim on my own social media ends that some of my friends actually detest Winter Soldier and Falcon and are singing praises of WandaVision, which again I don't really get. I mean, yeah, again, good but not great show, but yeah, I don't know. This article baffles me.
Yeah, it was when I read it, I was like, it's almost like they were like worshiping at the altar of WandaVision, and I was like, WandaVision, I really enjoyed. I mean, I really enjoyed WandaVision, but it was essentially a gimmick, a gimmick that paid off, to be fair, but it was still a gimmick. And when you contrast that with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which has actual character arcs for everybody, which you don't see in WandaVision, because the vision that you see is not a real vision. In fact, most of the characters you see are not real characters.
Quicksilver as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it just lowers the stakes, whereas the stakes in Falcon and the Winter Soldier are super high and escalating episode by episode. And I think that makes it, frankly, a superior TV show.
Agreed.
I can't believe Martin next week, the last episode.
It is the last episode.
If I may, the one thing I would say with this article, though, is sure it shows bias, but I think what they need to understand is I really do believe this was a Marvel decision. I really do believe that they looked at the two shows, saw what they were trying to accomplish, and it's kind of like if you have a better show out first, it's going to be a significant downgrade in the second. And I feel that's exactly what it is. I feel like you're going to leave this and you're going to have respect for the characters and you're going to learn something. And I think we're coming down from Thanos. So having normal, like, criminal high arc types as our villains for this thing, this is the perfect show to set that up. It's perfect. But with WandaVision, it's exactly like you said. It's a gimmick and it's a trailer. It's beautiful. I think it's awesome what they did with it, but I don't think that it holds even remotely a candle to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I will gladly die on that hill.
Yeah, well, I think we're all on that hill, at least on this show, unless Sun has something to say about it. Oh, master of contrariness, you want to chime in?
So you guys talked about a briefcase, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Inside the briefcase is the key to the vibranium mine.
You think so?
Falcon is going to become the new leader of the Wakandas, but as Captain America.
No.
You're just toying with our emotions right now, aren't you?
Well, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, actually it is. Yes, no argument there. You're very
wow.
Okay, well, we've got one episode to go. Any predictions before we move on to our next topic?
I think that what's her name? Julia, I think it's her name, the one who plays Lane in Seinfeld. I think her character is going to end up being the power broker. I'm just saying. I know they keep hinting that it's what's her name, but I don't think so. I think they're going to do a.
We saw what's her name doing a very power brokery thing in this episode.
I feel like they're trying to purposely make it seem like that, though. Like they're doing it hard. Either it's really on the nose, or they're going to do a bait and switch where it's going to be another character, and she is just someone else that's big as well. Like they do that a lot in these shows. I mean, even look at WandaVision. They did that same bait and switch towards it, but then again, it was apparent. So maybe.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is the significance of the paper that she gives John Walker that has absolutely nothing on it?
I think when she goes to call him, that's when something's going to appear on it. I think it's going to be a piece of tech. I think it looks like a card, but it's going to be some kind of way to contact him It's what it looks like to me.
It's psychic paper. We're getting a Doctor Who crossover.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Have you seen the tech in Wakanda? I mean, having some digital card. I mean, even Tony Stark was doing that back in 2008. Like,
yeah, that's so 2008, dude.
That's nothing.
You gotta put the card in the fire, and then it'll reveal the word.
Then it will. Yeah, then it'll tell you what you need to know.
I think she did it to test him. To see if he could figure it out.
I think it's also symbolic. Like, his life is now a blank page for him to write on.
That's actually a really good
That's kind of deep, Carlos.
Hey, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
They pay you.
Paid for this?
You guys don't get paid.
No.
PBS, come on.
Shot.
Sun Seal's got to get me in her moonshine business. I need some money.
Really. We could. I just would love some of the moonshine. Actually,
That rock candy.
I'd be down with that.
I make muscadine wine. Thank you.
Ooh,
fancy.
Okay, well, let's go into science fact for the week. Well, actually, both stories are not necessarily about facts. What's that, Justin? But these are really cool premises for science fiction, I think. So the first one, of course, we all are interested in UFOs. And as you know, recently the Navy, and the military released a lot of new files and video regarding documented UFOs. And so on Fox News, CNN, who else had it? They showed these videos of these pyramid-shaped UFOs that it's all green night vision, but it's actually, I thought, pretty clear, when they went into focus. And as well as another one that they called the blimp, which actually you could see quite a few of the features on it. Not that one, but anyway, did you guys get a chance to look at the video and see what you think?
I watched.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. Oh well, I was just gonna say, it looks legit. I wouldn't be surprised with them kind of putting all this stuff out there now. I mean, if they've been sitting on it a while, but I find it absolutely fascinating. As someone who's I'm probably gonna get this a hot take once again, but I just hate the idea of aliens being out there. But when I see stuff like this, I don't know. I question it.
Why do you hate the idea?
I just don't know. I feel like it kind of falls on the same line of religion in a lot of regards, where I think that people put too much stock into it. It's like an overhype. But then again, there's people like me who don't believe at all. And then when I see something like this, I'm like, okay. Then it kind of knocks some sense into it. I tried to always be grounded on these kind of things. But lately, ghosts and the UFOs, I'm telling you, I got a ghost in my house now. And now at UFOs and stuff, I'm kind of starting to just, kind of become open-minded as time goes on. And now we've got this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting pieces they had in the video were of, I think the term they used was transmedium, where they're able to go from space to atmosphere to ocean and without causing any destruction as they move from one medium to the other. Like, they had video shot from I think it was a destroyer, showing one of these objects going down into the water, with basically no splash. It just entered.
We've been seeing videos of this stuff for years, and it would not surprise me that they've known, but they're afraid because of religious reasons, because it would have very big implications for them to reveal something like this. They know it will, and they're just not wanting, they've been waiting. But with the current world situation, because everything has been going on, they might just go ahead and actually put it out there in the open.
Maybe. Son, you're a resident contrarian, so I'd love to hear what you think about this.
So I'm going to go a little bit Alex Jones here. So, This is exactly why Joe Biden was pushing that whole Great Reset thing, so that they could introduce us to the demon overlords that are going to take over. These demon overlords who've been watching us for centuries. They're the people who's turned the frogs gay.
Interesting.
Turn the freaking frogs gay frogs.
Wow, Travis, that was amazing.
You broke Travis.
That's the bourbon.
Congratulations.
I'm going to make a prediction now. If they land, it's just going to be the ship of all the WandaVision fanatics.
Okay, now
It'll be this.
now curiously, you guys, I think here's my theory. I have a theory, and my theory actually goes for the UFOs goes hand in hand with the so-called confirmation in Scientific American magazine that we live in a computer simulation. Now, as you may know, for about 20 years now, there's been a theory that has been growing in acceptance in the scientific community.
It's not really a theory so much as it is a philosophical debate in science.
Okay, I think fair enough. The idea that we actually live in a computer simulation, essentially the Matrix, and everything that we see and do doesn't really exist except as the, I guess, much more advanced equivalent of ones and zeros. So a couple of interesting points that this article makes that I think are fascinating, and I think I'm going to relate back to the UFOs. Hang on, it's going to get bumpy from here, folks. So number one, the writer says that one of the things that you would expect to see in a simulation, like whatever computer, no matter how advanced, is going to have an upper limit of its processor speed. And that this would show up in a simulation as an upper limit of something that is impossible to go faster. And they posit that the artifact of that in our simulated universe is, in fact, I guessed it because as soon as they said something that you cannot, an unbreakable, speed limit, the speed of light. And that is the artifact that's the maximum speed that this processor that runs our simulation is working at, and that's the way it shows up as this physical limit that we don't know why it's actually a physical limit. It just is. And then the second point is around why we have consciousness. That this one was a little harder to grab a hold of, but essentially what they're saying is that consciousness, of us, us having consciousness, we don't know why it exists. There's nothing philosophically or scientifically that says we should be conscious, and yet we are. Thank you. That's perfect. And so this brings us to my UFO theory. I think UFOs are actually a way that the people the beings that run our simulation interact with us as things that observe us from a distance, that creates things for us to react to. And that makes sense because remember that the whole speed of light thing is the reason. If you look at the theories around whether, how likely it is that there are other, advanced civilizations in the universe, and there's like one theory that says there should be 1 million, and there's another theory that says we're it, but they're both limited by the fact of the speed of light, that the amount of time it would take advanced beings from other parts of the universe to get to us would be longer than those beings, civilizations would likely exist. But if we're in a simulation, it can easily be done. They just insert themselves. And that's how I think the two are related. That is my theory for the year. What do you think?
I'd actually like. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
First of all, I think we need better topics next week.
This is real, man, or simulated.
The simulation.
Lane has been giving me a whole bunch of dirty looks because
he's giving me side eye. Lane, you're giving me side eye.
I feel kind of threatened.
Well,
right
at least
I
he's
kind
not.
of do.
At least he's not giving you side boob. So hey.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, Carlos, I would actually kind of think that I've always been in the mindset one of the possibilities if there is aliens and simulation's interesting, but think about it. What if we're like a terrarium? That's why we can't go past. Like we haven't figured out how to go past where we are in the universe.
That's essentially what this theory is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you're adding little variables that would make sense. Like anytime we try to make progress, bam, COVID, or bam, this event, or bam, like it's kind of like testing us as a species. I mean, like that is really interesting, honestly. Like I might have to give this a second look, honestly.
Think of it this way. We know from psychology that the more intelligent a creature is, the greater their need for play. That's why we have video games. It's why, dogs play and snails don't. So if you think about as a really big intelligence, which would have to be to create, computers or processors powerful enough to create literally an entire universe, or at least what looks to us like an entire universe, they would do it for fun. I mean, or entertainment, I guess maybe is the best way to put it, to play essentially. And so they throw things down at us to see how we react, just like, ant colonies. You introduce a new stimulus into, one of those ant colony things that you can, do they still make those for kids?
Yes, you can still get an ant colony.
Okay, thank God. And just see how they react, and that's us, folks. We're the ants. Thank you. There's the Matrix again. But
so does anybody remember the this weird little movie in the 90s called Contact?
Yes.
Okay.
Jodie Foster, based on.
So that is kind of a core of an argument against this, and not from the perspective of that this is all a simulation and all this kind of stuff. It's that for us to be able to break the speed of light, to basically get us somewhere else, the way we would have to do it would be like what is done in Contact. Jodie Foster never goes anywhere. She falls through the gate thingy, but her consciousness is launched off for 18 hours.
It seems to me like that would be a simulation.
It also makes you wonder if all of this stuff is a simulation. Like, when does it, if they're not playing as us, because there's all that speculation that we're the characters being played, right? If they're actually doing that, when the hell do they go back to work?
Well, we're running in the background. I mean, even we have games right now that do that. They run while we're away, and we come back and things have changed.
So it kind of begs the question then, like, are we the only simulation then?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? Likely we're not.
Man, Carlos making my brain work tonight.
Have you ever heard of this like stuff called string theory and the multiverse string theory?
Yeah.
So there's also this philosophical line of reasoning that everything that is dreamed and created in our world is a filter from another universe. And if there are other simulations running, guess what? That's computers crossing wires.
Could be.
It
could be.
Across the beams.
It's the streams, dude.
Life is but a dream.
doodly dee 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 dee.
I will have you know that streams and beams are two different things, my friend.
They sure are.
Unless you cross them.
I have watched Ghostbusters a total of 1 time.
All right, that's blasphemy. Get off
That
the
is
stream.
You're fired.
Look,
You're fired.
as long as it's not the 2016 Ghostbusters, you're fine.
You've only watched
gentleman and
Ghostbusters
remove
one
him.
time.
Let's call it what it is. It's Q messing with us.
Let me read this paragraph from this article just because I think it's about the consciousness thing that I was talking about that I think puts it really well. It says, there's nothing in philosophy or science, no postulates, theories, or laws that would predict the emergence of this experience we call consciousness. Natural laws do not call for its existence, and it certainly does not seem to offer us any evolutionary advantages. There can be only 2 explanations for this. First is that there are evolutionary forces at work that we don't know of or haven't theorized yet that select for the emergence of the experience called consciousness. The second is that the experience is a function we serve, a product we create, an experience we generate as human beings. Who do we create this product for? How do they receive the output of the experience generating algorithms that we are? We don't know. But one thing's for sure, we do create it. We know it exists. That's the only thing we can be certain about. And that we don't have a dominant theory to explain why we need it.
We're a procedural universe.
Well, I would think that our need to develop is all about progression as a civilization. I don't think that there's necessarily a need for it. I think it's just choice, honestly. But then again, that goes to the whole debate philosophically about it. So are we choosing to do it, or is that in our programming to do it? So I don't know.
Well, it really gets, sorry to blow your minds, but, the whole question of free will, I mean, from purely philosophical standpoint, even apart from the scientific, view of this, that this article is about, does postulate that we don't, in fact, have freedom of choice, that we're the sum of our, philosophical algorithms, as it were. And they're obviously very sophisticated algorithms, but they're there nonetheless, and you can juice. Google does this all the time with its algorithms. It adjusts them, and in our simulated world, those adjustments could be scientific advancement, a breakthrough in technology.
So this is why big tech is so messed up and against memes, because as one video game put it, memes are the DNA of the soul.
God, I hope not. Interesting. Enough mind-blowing for the evening. I wanted to run that one past you guys.
Welcome to Slow News Week on Super Geeks.
Well,
hey,
so I can shed a little bit of light on this gaining acceptance in a bunch of groups, and that was because a study not too long ago was about how they did a study on I can't remember how many people, but like at the end of the study, only 10% of those people like had an internal consciousness, like a little Jiminy Cricket on their shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
giving them advice. And it's like, well, are the people who don't have that, are they just NPCs in a simulation, or are the people that do have that, are they the ones being guided in society by some higher power, or some people outside of the simulation, or what?
I mean, this can go all the way into religion. I mean,
it really does.
If you're perceiving as gods and deities pulling strings, I mean, this kind of plays into that too. I mean, that could be the whole crux of it, honestly. I find this whole fascinating. I mean, I'm probably not going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be thinking about this whole dilemma, but
the Greeks got it right from the very beginning. The fates. They don't the fates. They don't directly interfere in what is to be, but they do cut threads.
Yes, and weave things together. So yes, that's actually, I think,
that's a wonderful example.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Okay. Well, thank you for indulging me in that. Let's see. Justin, are you and I the only ones still watching Invincible on Amazon Prime?
Yes, and I have not catch this yet.
Oh.
It's been a busy week. I'm trying to nail down another apartment, and it's just been.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so
busy.
anybody else watching? Raina, you should watch Invincible because you're a comic book fan, right?
It's a little too strong for Travis and Lane. Lane might not like it.
Well, I mean, he might.
I mean, I wanna get into it. I've just been very busy. I've been doing a lot of writing these last few days, so I haven't really been watching too much stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, still worth a look. And
it's Justin, Amazon exclusive.
Yeah, it's Amazon Prime.
Okay.
There are 6 episodes in. They're about 40 minutes long each, and of course, no commercials. Yay! But a very interesting take on superheroes. And in fact, I think we should do a whole show or something themed on just all the different kinds of takes on superhero-dom that we're seeing lately on television and in films. I mean, we have the very traditional ones we've seen in, the DC universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Blowing up right now.
Yeah, but now you're also seeing things like The Boys and Invincible and Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix is coming up soon. And we've got The Nevers on HBO Max that just premiered
I need to watch
this past Sunday. Yes, and I would love for us to talk about it next week. It's, I forget how many episodes it is, but it'll be on HBO Max for several weeks to come. And it's a Joss Whedon produced. He wrote it and directed the pilot and I think 2 other episodes, but he has since stepped away. And we covered this on the show a few weeks ago. He has since stepped away and turned over everything to a different showrunner. I did take a look at it, and I have to say, I liked it. The Rolling Stone review that we have linked in the on the Trello card, they did not like it so much. But they didn't hate it either. They didn't hate it either. They basically said that Joss Whedon is kind of like too toxic. It's like the toxicity is still there, even though he's left. I wouldn't go so far. I mean, there are a lot of other creative people who are making this show. It does have some of his trademark things, but at the same time, it's really interesting. It's set in Victorian times. People, mostly women, who are affected by this celestial event that gives some of them powers, and they're looked down on by proper Victorian society, but they're also trying to help each other out, find each other, keep them from being exploited by exploiters. But I check it out, at least the pilot, and let's talk about it next week.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. And of course, we've also got Jupiter's Legacy coming, I think, later this month or in May from Netflix, which is about, essentially the Justice League and their kids and the next generation of superheroes in this particular universe. Yeah. And so that will be an interesting take too. But, I'm fascinated really by how much of these sort of alternative takes on superheroes we're seeing, like just in the last 2 years. And it looks like it's not stopping, which I don't know. What do you think that says about what we think of heroes? What's happening in society? Anything like that?
Well, I mean, first of all, let me say that Jupiter's Legacy actually looks fantastic. I'm actually excited to watch it. I think we hit our pinnacle with Endgame. I really do. I think once you've hit that crescendo, you have to have a unique take now. Even the MCU, I think, will struggle to have traction. I think that's why they're trying these show platforms, just in case they have a fallback.
Do you think it would be fair, Raina, to say that with the passing of Endgame, that all these other networks, platforms, producers are saying, look, this is our chance. Umbrella Academy is another one. I mean, it just keeps going on and on. This is our chance to, take this opportunity of the fact that, this is a real break in Marvel's supremacy, just because, it's the end of a certain cycle of their characters, their universe, for these others to try to like grab hold of the attention.
I would actually agree with that. I've actually been saying since Endgame has come and passed, there's been kind of like not really a lot of hype. Like even when Spider-Man came out shortly after that, it was kind of like, all right, I've already been in it for this long run, but now's the opportunity to get unique properties out here that we've not seen before. And I think that this is the best time. We've seen what Marvel can do. We've seen them at their best. So there's no surprise there anymore. I mean, their shows are kind of surprising, but their movies are kind of falling in the same line. And I think even with Black Widow, we'll see that. I think with all these other properties, like even DC is starting to push out more things that are more unique to their taste that are not like them. Like I'd even say Robert Pattinson's Batman, the new one that's coming out, is drastically different than any Batman film they've done. And I kind of like that. This is the time to get in on it. You can't go past Endgame, but you can make unique things now. Now's the time to really jump on the niche market.
Now, here's an interesting thing, and I'm convinced that you're right. So what we're seeing both DC and Marvel do right now is not, continue to do the same old thing with superheroes. They're now literally going multiversal. Like that's kind of the driving force behind the stories that we're seeing now. I mean, we saw it start with, Spider-Man's multiverse. We're seeing it, by all accounts, we're going to see more of it in the third Spider-Man film. Obviously, Doctor Strange 2 is all about multiverses. And, they've sort of teed up Scarlet Witch to be a part of that as well. And so maybe now it's about the stories that are told about different versions of the existing characters and having them interact and the, sort of the drama and the adventure coming from that. Whereas all these other shows are now just sort of exploring different interpretations, different permutations of more traditional sort of approaches to superheroes like we've seen from DC and Marvel. I mean, they're all basically based on the Justice League or the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
I will say that one thing that actually does work in its favor, though, is Marvel kind of learned from it, though. After Endgame, when they put out Spider-Man, it was kind of like it was there, it was good, but it was kind of a letdown because of what we had before it. I like that they're going like, okay, we really need a niche hook. Oh, multiverses? Okay, let's do that. That's interesting. And DC's kind of like going down this really dark rabbit hole, but I kind of enjoy it because Joker was fantastic. It was a great film. Of course, it was kind of disconnected from what it was supposed to be, but that was the point. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be an interesting take too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And with all these access sources, they're making their own unique characters. They're doing their own unique things. And I think that's great. It provides not only like interesting stories to tell, but you've got competition now.
Yeah. And it's a fresh take, on.
And I'm glad
that we've taken for granted. Go ahead, Justin.
I'm glad you mentioned Robert Pattinson Batman because it just came out the other day that apparently it's on Earth 2.
Yes, although we don't even know what that means anymore. Since
look at this Superman and Lois, because it's like they're pretending nobody else exists.
Well, it's kind of a big deal. If you guys watch, I don't know if you guys watched it, but Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah,
like they all feel dramatically different. Each one of those worlds, like if they start playing around, like this is what's unique to this world, and this is what's unique to this one. When those crossovers happen, it'll be more meaningful if we understand where their starting point was.
Sure.
And I think that's what DC's trying to do, like establish, no, this ain't the Batman you're talking about. This Batman's from this Earth. And I think if they start doing that, they're both tying into multiversal stuff, and I think it's smart because it completely...
But don't you think it's also dangerous? Like, the whole reason originally in comics that DC had Crisis on Infinite Earths was because their multiverse had literally gotten out of control.
It's a reset button. Generally, when you have the Crisis, it's the reset button. And actually, Crisis on Infinite Earth did a soft reset of what was there. They kind of just
Oh no, dude,
everything.
that was a hard.
It was a
Because
mess,
watching-
but it was like I would say that they were like, all right, it's time to stop splitting these heroes up that keep doing crossovers. Just put them in the same dimension. Like
Right.
they try to put it all together, and I understand with that, but I feel like it was sloppy. Where I feel like Marvel and DC have a potential to do something really special with this. They've got the time, they've got the money, and they've got the budget to do it. And I feel like they can touch on this now, and it's a good time with all these superhero stories ending up on Netflix because they're not going to be able to do something as grand as this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a thought. That leak that you mentioned, Justin, about this Batman being on Earth 2, would you guys accept it if it was the Flash Earth 2, the one that had Wells from it?
There's Wells from all of them.
Well, no. I mean, like the Earth 2 Wells Earth 2.
Yeah,
because that way it would fill out the Art Deco and the blimps everywhere from like Batman the Animated Series.
And Michael Keaton Batman, was also similarly, had a similar visual take. And apparently, Michael Keaton is somehow going to play some sort of role in all of this. So,
maybe
he's been signed. So he was the first major, motion picture Batman.
Well,
Adam West doesn't count, by the way.
Well, if you've been keeping up with Michael Keaton news, apparently he reprised his Batman role for a college commencement speech.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently.
Oh, that was glorious. You know what, though? Did you guys see this article on, this post on DC Fandom? This actually kind of explains Earth 2, but at the same time, its opening description, I'm going to post it here in the chat. It kind of makes it seem like they may tie it into the TV verse, is what it seems like. If you actually read that description there at the top, that it's a universe comprised of infinite divergent realities that branch from the core during Infinite Crisis. So that would be kind of interesting if they can actually successfully tie in their movies and TV, because, I mean, that's what Marvel's doing. So they may be trying to compete in that market. Multiverse movies and TV, which if you can successfully do that, I guess there's a market for it.
Yeah, the trouble is they like universes, I guess, they literally tend to expand and then contract. We've seen it happen before where it expands, that it gets so confusing, especially if you're trying to get new people. I mean, that was one of the reasons they had the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, is that DC's universe had gotten so complicated, it was hard to get new readers because they were like, no one wanted to start reading something and feeling like they had to have 50 years of history to understand what was going on in front of them. And so they tried to simplify it. And
if I were them, I would double down on this and do exactly what's been like that they've been claiming like is leaked and all this stuff, like with previous Spider-Man coming back, previous Batman's coming back, I would really tie into nostalgia right now. With all these new shows coming out, you've hit your crescendos on both Marvel and DC. With the Snyder Cut and Endgame, it's time to tie into nostalgia, because I'm telling you, nothing brings ticket money in. If they told me it was a terrible Spider-Man film, but Tobey Maguire came back for a cameo, I'd still pay to go see it.
I would too.
I just feel like now's the time to cash in on that, especially with like Netflix getting in the superhero market now and Amazon. Your competition, you need to stand out. And when you've hit that crescendo, this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to like basically put themselves in a position to stand out again, to not be expected. Because when we go to see a Marvel film, we know what's expected.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of get an idea of how it's going to play out. We need something to surprise us, and I think this is a good opportunity to do so.
Well, at this point, we know that going to a DC movie is a coin toss.
Yeah, that's true.
Or really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Their shows are like that too. I mean, I'm probably the biggest adversary of the show Titans.
We're gonna need to have a debate about that. George and I love Titans, so think about that, Raina.
I'm gonna have to prep for that fight. I may have to go back and watch it just because.
I actually just recently watched it in the last few months.
Look at Travis over there. Look at Travis over there rubbing his hands. He know who he betting on.
Do he? He's betting on Lane.
Dude, Lane is undefeatable, so
that's true.
It's safe money.
Unless you have an electric Pokemon.
Made his match with this Lane.
No, that
Lane versus Mirror Lane.
Mirror Lane's going to kick Lane's butt.
Well, Mirror Lane has the cooler sunglasses. I'll say that.
Oh,
hey, do I have to go shopping for Lane accessories now?
Yes.
Why haven't you done that already?
Why haven't you done that already? Yeah, that's the question.
Like, I need to. He needs
It's snowing. Get him a coat.
If we want to get into some Lane canon real quick, he should actually have some little goggles that's just rest on his forehead.
That's right.
That's right.
And we actually have video of Lane in the snow from a couple months ago, don't we, Travis? Didn't you shoot some video when you had that huge snowstorm out there and you took Lane out in it?
Did I?
I feel like you posted it on your Facebook or something.
You did.
I definitely.
Oh no, you posted in chat.
I have no
Maybe.
idea. I can't remember. I remember I went out and walked in the snowstorm, but I don't think I took Lane out with me.
I felt like you did. And show the folks at home, I don't know if Raina knows this, but Lane still has his original sales tag. Show the folks at home. There it is.
What?
Yep.
99 cents.
It was a lot more than 99 cents.
This is the behind the scenes moment I needed. I feel invested now.
Yep.
You guys, all that time that Travis took off, I was looking on Amazon for Lane replacement so we can maybe see about sourcing you one and sending you one. And Eric Spencer.
That's like one of my favorite things about Lane is that his original sales tag is still attached to him.
I had no idea, but that kind of makes him all the much more.
Now you know why I love him so much.
Travis, you know what Lane needs? He needs those goggles and a fez.
Lane remembers his origin story.
That's right. He was
right
bought
there
at Kmart.
It's right there attached to his tail.
It was cold, dark night at that Kmart in 2008.
Where did you get Lane, Travis?
I ordered him on eBay, I believe.
Okay.
But
back when eBay was actually good.
He's seen some things in the back of that UPS truck.
But yeah,
dark things.
He definitely came from overseas because.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's a lot.
He's an exotic traveler too. He just gets more and more interesting.
This is a fez, Travis.
So not only did he see the back of a UPS truck, he also saw the storage area of a fucking plane.
He's been everywhere.
He's been everywhere.
And sadly, he's seen all the dildos that came from Wish in China. Because those came over by air freight too.
Oh man, Wish is driving me crazy on my Facebook.
I blame Super Geek Jack for all the weird shit that shows up in my freaking ads on Facebook. Oh my god.
It's Joe Diaz.
Yeah, Joe Diaz.
I bought a Zen garden from them, like one of them little rock ones. I have it right here, actually.
At hand.
Now
I kept seeing it, and it's a salt rock one, and I was like, okay, it's driving me crazy.
Oh, I love those salt rocks.
It's working though, because when I see it, I'm like, God, I've seen this thing 6 times. I'm just gonna buy it, so they leave me alone, and they did.
They did leave you. Oh no, I get the opposite, especially from Amazon. Once I buy a thing, they keep sending me more ads
and more
of that thing, like from other brands. I'm like, email. I bought one already. You know, I bought one.
You know who I am.
Damn it! Me this.
Look,
and then they got you an email.
Just whatever you do, don't go to Google and look up what a Texas catheter is, or people will think you're incontinent.
No, what are you going to say? That the algorithm going to hear you.
Yeah, I can hear all the keyboards across America now. Texas.
All 13 of them.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
we love you, folks at home.
Wait,
right.
those 13 viewers are our original colonies.
I like that.
We learned that
most
of them are here to see Lane.
Okay, our last piece of news before we move into our closing segments is yes, of course we have those. Is the news? Well, okay. First of all, this is about MST3K, which has already been. It is the show that will not die, people. And frankly, I wish it would, but it does not.
Hey,
and it's a great concept, but it got really old.
Okay, so to be clear, it's died twice. It's undead at this point. It just keeps coming back.
That is exactly the way to put it, son. Thank you. But yes, Kickstarter was started by its original host, Joel Hodgson, which raised, their goal was $2 million in order to do another, to not finance another run of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
Oh, really? 3,000? I mean, three episodes?
Yeah. The 2,000 is for 3 episodes, or the 2 million is for 3 episodes.
Wow, that
built the Gizmoplex.
Yeah, I guess that sounds really expensive for only 3.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're buying the rights,
if they're buying the rights, those can be expensive.
Because that was the biggest problem of the
the trailer on Kickstarter is pretty high quality. I mean, there's some quality behind it. So
I mean, these people
I'm not surprised
making these things for 30 years, 25 years.
Quit defibrillating it, God.
Yeah, the 2 million. They have the first 3 episodes, but they also built the Gizmoplex, which is basically, since they got dropped from Netflix, they basically have said, okay, let's have our own service for, like basically that's what this is.
That's true. That ain't cheap.
Service, but it's like they're hosting MST3K from their own platform, and I think I don't know if this is true or not. I think there was like potential for also hosting like Cinematic Titanic and Rift Tracks there as well, but I'm not 100% certain on that front. But yeah, this is basically this is for the fans of MST3K, built by the fans, and
they got to their goal in one day.
Yeah, they did.
And as of tonight, they're about to crack $3 million. So they've gotten another $1 million since then, which is
21 more days to go.
Impressive. Yeah, 21 more days to go. So in their first week, they have $3 million. So let's see how that goes.
I'm actually hoping to throw a little money their way as well. So
you are a generous man, Travis.
I love MST3K, and
we at one time thought about doing a show like that. I think it was brainchild of George and Sean O'Halloran. We were going to do something like that, but they were just trying to figure out the logistics. They would have to do it and stuff that was out in the open, and it would have to be really shitty movies because of what happened in MST3K.
And I mean, I may be slightly biased. I'm not a super fan of MST3K by any means. I'm actually very young as a fan of the franchise. Only a few years.
Yeah, I know. I know you're not a super fan. You're not subscribed to their Twitch channel.
Oh, he called you out.
Subscribed to a whole lot of channels on Twitch, honestly. So
mine.
But
MST3K is always on Twitch.
And when I found them, I just fell for it. I love MST3K. I watch the Christmas special every Christmas, the Santa Claus Conquering the Martians one. It's a brilliant Christmas episode. It's a very, very good Christmas episode. And
those early animatronic horses.
Yeah. Breaking news.
I have seen.
With the fez, excellent.
And a bow tie.
And I have seen.
He's the doctor.
I have seen.
He's the mirror doctor.
I have seen MST3K live twice now, and like I really like. No, I'll go even further. I've actually like been very, very like Joel Hodgson came and introduced himself to my roommate when we were watching the very first MST3K live show in Denver. And that was a starstruck moment for me. Like, there's so much heart in. What are you doing? What are you slapping your?
No,
forehead?
I don't deny that they have heart. They really do. I think that's impressive. I just think as a format, it got old after about 2 years.
Well, you just don't have the heart of a heckler, Carlos.
I guess I don't. I guess I don't.
You have the heart of a cyberbully, harasser, journalist who.
Don't forget Death Threat. I do death threats apparently.
Lawsuits. I don't know.
I like how.
Well put, Travis.
Travis, I really love how you're going off of. I'm not a mega fan too. I was there when it was created, man.
Yeah. I was starstruck when I met Joel Hodgson. I'm not a super fan.
Hashtag humble brag.
Humble
I
brag.
have that. You get two lanes.
It was like I have to tell the story now because like
God, you really are starstruck. Holy cow!
like, basically, like
Well, make it quick, Travis and Lane.
we'll make it quick. We're not even at the 2-hour mark yet.
I
so
know,
you're
but I'd
fine.
love for us to like get done in
Not
under
be here
2
for 2 hours. Or what, about 4 hours like last week?
But
Well, we had a lot to talk about.
MST3K Live came to Denver, and I got tickets for my roommate and I, and it was very last minute purchasey, but we actually got some front row seats off to the left. And
Where? What venue was it at in Denver?
I believe it was Paramount, but no, it wasn't Paramount. What was it at?
Was it old or new?
It was fairly old.
Okay.
But
we got front row tickets off to the left.
Off to the left.
That's an MST3K quote. Come on, be honest.
That kind of is. Good point, son.
Well, it makes this story all the more special because we got there, we got in our seats, and we were just kind of talking and chatting, and we're excited. And out from the stage, this guy walks toward us, sits right next to my roommate, and he's like, "Hey, at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be coming out, and I'm going to be like showcasing some merchandise that is for sale at the tables back there. And one of the things that we are selling are these like coffee mugs that have they're coffee mugs. And I want you to like inspect this, and I want you to take the lid off, and there's going to be a little snake that shoots out of it." And I'm looking at this guy, like asking my roommate to do this, and my mind is just like, that's fucking Joel Hodgson. That's Joel Hodgson. And like he had like
the snake in a can.
Yes, the snake in a can, and like I was just like, I gotta say something, but I can't. I want to say something, but I can't. And like
Travis, you are adorable.
So much heart.
He Broderick, he's the roommate. He was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that." And I actually videotaped the whole
I want to see that video. I want to see that video.
I will link it shortly.
Bring it next week. We can watch it on the show.
And
oh god.
And yeah, at the very end, he shook Broderick's hand like Joel Hodgson. I was just like, I really should have asked for a photo. Like, I really wanted to. I was like, I just wanted to be like, Mr. Hodgson, may I please get a photo with you? Like, it was a really, really cool moment. And I really, really, really hope that they reach the $5 million goal. I know that not everybody here liked the reimagining of MST3K. I had a lot of fun with it, and I was very, very upset when Netflix dropped them. I'm really pulling
it didn't
for this.
surprise me.
Well, shut up. You
Netflix
can
has
just
a
shut
habit
up,
of canceling stuff.
because Netflix sucks.
At
There's
this point,
Daredevil.
At this point, Netflix is a lot like Steam or Valve. They can't
Or
really
Epic.
count to. They can't really count to a season 3.
Yeah. Well, costs significantly rise after 2 seasons, significantly. So yeah, it's a lot of economics. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Travis. And even though I'm making fun of you, I don't mean it.
Mm-hmm.
We always pick on
Yes,
Travis.
you do.
I love Travis and Lane, especially Lane. Okay. Thank you, Side Eye. Okay. All right. This brings us to our final formal segment of the show, our weekly "What Are We Watching" segment. So we're going to launch into that in a second. And yes, thank you, Andrew. Also, going back quick to the "Are We in a Simulation" story, put up Brenda's last comment for a second because it's kind of funny. 2020 must have been a holodeck malfunction. That's what they planned. They wanted to see how we reacted. And, the answer would be not so well, actually. Totally preventable. We didn't prevent it anymore.
Always been off then.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Let's be completely and utterly honest. This is the exact same reaction that happened during the Spanish influenza.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't change, folks. We don't change. Okay, so let's find out what we thank you, Badgie. And I always have my badgie here ready and waiting.
I got mine.
My Christmas badgie from Sean the Pantsless Wonder. Okay, so we're going to launch into our "What Are We Watching," where we share a thing that we have watched or experienced in the last week that we would like to recommend to the folks at home. And after that, we will formally close the show, but we will encourage you to stay with us for our informal after show, in which we call it Florida Man, because we examine this week's Florida Man stories, the weird
Much more
stories.
lively than last week, and hopefully not as tired because we aren't running 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it just kept going. It just kept
we
going.
were just having all the excitement with Raina's introduction to Star Trek. So
Indeed.
All that
Okay, so with that said, please join us for Florida Man. But we will now launch into our "What Are We Watching" segment, and we will start with the aforementioned Raina. What was on your watching docket this week?
Well, like I said, I watched Prodigal Son, but that wasn't the main focus. You guys got me into Star Trek: The Next Generation to start with. I got to episode 15. I'm hoping to finish in the season this weekend. I actually wrote down a list of 5 episodes that I really liked and 3 that I just absolutely hated.
Okay, lay it on us.
So my favorite ones that I've seen so far: Data Lore,
Good
Hide
one.
and Q,
Good one.
Where No One Has Gone Before, The Big
Okay.
Goodbye, and The Battle
Yep.
were my favorite ones that I've seen so far.
Yep, those are all good.
My least favorites: Code of Honor,
Yep.
The Naked Now, and Justice were just
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
least favorites.
That's
of them.
pretty much everybody's.
Everybody hates them. I remember when it first aired, originally aired, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, the Naked Now is a TOS, the original series.
No, I'm not talking about Naked Now. I'm talking about Justice. Naked Now, I watched that, and I was like, "Why are they redoing this? This is ridiculous."
See, this is why Carlos. This is why Carlos calls me the contrarian, because I thought Justice was just fine.
Well, it's actually kind of funny with this whole thing because I was like, I hate Wesley. Like, the moment I started, I'm like, please let this kid die at some point. And I really like in Hide and Q that he actually does damn near die. But I was going to say, when I watched Where No One Has Gone Before, I actually, started to like him. I'm like, why am I liking this kid now? He's got heart, though.
He does.
I don't know what it is. He grows on you. You can't stand him at first. But
like a parasite, he grows on you.
Once he gets on the bridge, he's decent. And he actually does something.
Yeah.
He will.
Well, most of Star Trek
in the further seasons.
Yeah, like most of Star Trek, once you got Gene Roddenberry out of there, everything gets better. So, and of course, Wesley was Gene Roddenberry's wish fulfillment for himself. And it showed in those first episodes in the first season. But yeah, as we go in farther into the show, real writers
Thank
take over and make them much more interesting.
Well,
I
it could
just gotta
also-
add one more thing before I continue. I gotta say that Riker was someone that I just did not connect with. He is my favorite person on the show right now.
Once he gets the beard, he's awesome.
I just absolutely love Riker to death. He's just the best. Every time he comes on screen, I'm like a little schoolgirl. I'm like, yes, he's gonna do something funny or have some funny banter with Data. I love it.
Season 1,
I actually like him.
Just wait till he starts hiking his leg up on those forward consoles.
Oh, that's right. He always used to do that. It was all like,
I always season 2. Starts that next season.
I don't know why. It's just
don't
like
do that. You'll strain something.
I think it's the actor himself. Like, I don't know if it's just because he's like really like just too pretty to be on screen or something like that. But I just like get immersed, like where I'm like, okay, I'm invested.
He gets cooler the older he gets. The actor, Jonathan Frakes, he's fantastic.
He also gets more
director.
He also gets more animated the older he gets.
Yeah.
One could also make the argument that Wesley actually does grow up like a kid in the Next Generation, because everybody hates him in the beginning, and he's like that pesky little kid. You're go away, you little brat, get the hell out of here. And then all of a sudden he just like grows up, and you're like, okay, I can kind of get used to this.
And then he's finally gone.
I actually remember
choices.
When I first started the show, I texted Travis. I like paused the first episode. And I'm like, please tell me this kid drowns. I actually texted him.
Wow.
Like, please tell me this kid drowns here.
Thank you, Justin. Yeah, complaints at realsupergeeks.com.
Here, Star Trek gatekeepers. This is the new perspective on Star Trek. Please do not send hate mail.
I actually really like him though, where No One Has Gone Before is a fantastic episode that you're like, okay, this kid, there's more to him. He's got a lot of heart. He's really trying his best. And I don't know, from that point forward, I was like, I kind of grew to like him.
Wait till you get to First Duty, man.
First Duty is a great episode.
It's a great episode. All right, let's go over to Stalwart Justin and find out what he watched this week.
Well, I have started a DS9 rewatch.
You know who else has? Pantless O'Halloran.
I did not know that. Yeah, I started mine earlier this week. I'm on episode 5? No, 6. No, wait. There's one right after Alpaca gets stranded on the planet. Is that 11?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's been
not important, really.
Yeah, Alpaca just got stranded on the planet, and it's now dead basically, but keeps getting reanimated. DS9 is special. You'll like it, Raina.
You will. Actually, DS9 is the best.
It doesn't Roddenberry mold of boring first season. It starts out pretty good. It has a few bad episodes, but it has a lot of gems. You'll enjoy it. Get to
none
it.
of them. None of them are
like,
stinkers.
Even Move Along Home, it has a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
none of them are justice.
There's no justice.
Oh,
there is no justice.
Oh, you've sold me on the show already.
No, nobody running around in song.
If I had to pick a worst episode of DS9, like I ranked the 30 worst episodes back in 2018.
Of course you did.
And none of DS9 cracked the top 10. The closest it got was number 11, and that was Time's Orphan.
That one sucked.
Which one was that one?
Time's Orphan is the one where Molly falls
Keiko,
into
the Molly one. Yeah.
I'm
one
so
of the whole
disappointed in Bashir in that episode.
It was like they had to
put up Andrew's comment.
It was like they had to have
put up Andrew's comment. Don't talk shit about Move Along Home.
I like that episode.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
That is a guilty pleasure.
Oh, Andrew. Well, Andrew finally finished watching. Andrew, did you ever finish TNG? I forget. He was a latecomer too. Andrew, kids today. Anyway. All right. Thank you, Stalwart Justin. Let's move over to Travis and Lane.
We didn't do Disney Roulette this weekend, so
thank God. But you did do Disaster Piece Theater.
we didn't do Disaster Piece Theater.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
No,
that's a lie. You literally told us before the show you watched tornadoes all week this week.
This is what I watched. The reason why we didn't do Disney Roulette is because, unfortunately, someone at my sister's boyfriend's work tested positive for COVID, and so they were waiting on some results from him, and so we're just playing it safe. I think we're going to do it tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. We did end up watching a movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox, but that's not what I want to talk about, because I'm pretty sure
it's a great movie.
It's a great movie, and
fun movie.
I'm sure everybody knows it's a great movie. So I'm going to talk about the thing that I'm pretty sure no one knows is great. I actually was kind of just going through YouTube, and just looking at random okay, I gotta go a little. Going on right now in the Caribbean is a volcanic eruption at St. Vincent at the volcano La Soufriere, and it has not erupted in this fashion since 1979. It's actually in the middle of a very significant and powerful volcanic
and potentially protracted, from what I read. It could last a while.
Yes, this has been building up since December of last year. There was a lava dome that started to actively build, and well, here's the pressure that is, going up. Thankfully, no lives lost. Their evacuations have been fairly smooth. So, but basically, this led into me revisiting a documentary on YouTube that is actually one of my personal favorite documentaries. And that is a documentary called The Last Day of Pompeii, or Pompeii, The Last Day. And it very much is a documentary / dramatization of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79. And they actually tackle the event really well. There is some creative liberties taken here and there, like the characters that they come up with, that they do their best to recreate what is going on. They actually do a very, very believable job. There's some dialogue which is kind of here and there, but in terms of progressing from what starts off as a normal day in this soon to be buried city to this volcano erupting and them not having a clue as to what's going on from beginning all the way to end is actually very, very somber, very, very powerful. It's a very, very compelling documentary. And as simple as it is, I mean, it's not like, I don't think this documentary was ever going to win an award or anything like that, but in terms of covering Mount Vesuvius or whatnot, it's actually really well done, and it is on YouTube for free. It's about 49 minutes long. The music is great. It's actually very, very, it captures the mood perfectly. And the narrator is also really, really well done. He's not this is it's not one of those narrators where it's just oh, but the worst is yet to come. It's not overdone. It's actually very somber and very he treats the story and the subject matter with respect. And as a bit I am a volcano enthusiast at heart.
I'm a serial killer enthusiast. I'm not supportive of serial killers. I'm just very interested in stories about serial killers.
And I mean and
somehow that's not surprising.
But yeah, this is one of my personal favorite documentaries that has ever been made on Mount Vesuvius or any volcano, honestly. I have seen a lot of volcano documentaries, from Mount St. Helens to Mount Rainier to Yellowstone. Like this is one that is actually really, really well done. And if anyone listening right now has even the slightest bit of interest in volcanoes, look up look up Pompeii: The Last Day. Like I said, less than an hour, well worth your time.
There you go. All right, Sun Seal, lay it on us, sister.
Okay, so I've been rewatching Star Trek SU. There I go again.
SUV.
Oh my god!
I love it.
Star Trek SUVG1. Yeah, there you go. I'm just exhausted. You guys have no idea how taxing going to the retinal doctor was, especially with all the poking and prodding in your eye.
Oh, I've been there. It is. It's very tiring.
I see what you mean.
Yes.
You're very you visualize it quite well.
So I'm watching Stargate SG-1 while it's on Netflix, and I know why we're in the state we're in right now, because I just got to the Fourth Horseman Part 1 and 2 with the Ori, and it's the Ori. The Ori released COVID on us all. Because the Fourth Horseman Part 1 and 2 is literally an Ori virus infecting Earth and killing it winds up killing only 3,000 people, but it spreads so fast and it affects so many people. It only takes 3 days for the entire planet to be under quarantine.
There you go.
I'm like, Jesus, the parallels here.
This is how we know it's fictional. Because they shut down right away and everywhere.
And everybody cooperates.
Yeah.
No, everybody doesn't cooperate, because that's how the shit keeps getting spreads, because people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if they're going to put the other Stargate on Netflix.
I was actually saying that this has been like a zombie movie. When someone gets bit and they pretend that everything's okay, then they don't tell anyone that they've been bit. They're just still walking around. That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, well, thank you, son. Sorry about your pain or exhaustion.
Damn, I took down the zombie Burnham thing.
Personally, I would like to do a rewatch of Stargate Universe, which I rather liked. Although it was almost funny how it fell into this formula. Would always have the montage in the last 10 minutes, every episode. Remember? It would be like a hard rock montage thing. It was like clockwork. But by the end of their season, they were starting to figure some stuff out right before they got canceled. Damn it. It was finally going somewhere.
I will never watch Stargate Universe. I've heard that it just never finished in the way it should have, and that really gets to me. Because it's still worth
a watch. I think it's better than SG-1.
Let's put it this way. The Sci-Fi Channel put more resources into actually finishing Warehouse 13 than they did in the Stargate Universe, a property that's been around a whole hell of a lot longer.
Yep. Okay.
Really fans of Stargate Universe. That's why it didn't last.
All right, so I'm going to wind up with my what I watched this week, and then we're going to sign off and go to Florida Man. So one was a movie and one was a TV show. I'm going to start with the TV show because it is actually science fiction, and that is a show on, I think it's an NBC, called Debris. And I think I talked about it on here after the pilot, but then I hadn't watched it since. So it's now, I don't know, about 5 or 6 episodes in, and I started catching up, and it's completely growing on me. It's sort of like X-Files meets Fringe meets its own thing, and it's fun to watch. I'm enjoying it. So recommendation on that one. And then the second thing that I watched was a movie on Amazon Prime, although it was supposed to be theatrically released last year, but we know what happened. but an interesting film called Spontaneous. And it's about this. I'm not sure if it wants to be a drama or a comedy, maybe both. But it's about this high school where kids all of a sudden they're all seniors, all of a sudden start exploding spontaneously. No one knows why. And all the ripple effects of the fact that people are exploding spontaneously. And particularly through these two characters, this teenage girl who's, I forget her name, Catherine Langford. Is that what I'm thinking of? She's really good. And then this boy who, because they had this classmate in pre-calculus explode, blood everywhere. There's so much blood. Oh my God, in this movie. So to the point that it's hilarious, but then there are other parts that are just really thought-provoking as they, ponder mortality and of course the adults are useless, as they often are in movies like this. But Charlie Plummer plays her boyfriend, who admits to her that he's had a crush on her for 2 years and is only telling her now because he's pondering mortality and thought, I better tell her now. So he does. They get together. They do banter really well, which I love. I love banter.
Then they kiss and he explodes.
I'm not going to spoil this for you, so I'm going to leave it at that. It's on Amazon Prime, so free to watch if you have Amazon. But it's worth watching. I enjoyed it. They even make little call outs to like E.T., which is hilarious, and a few other movies, Heathers, and some others. Anyway, it's worth a watch if you've got quarantine time on your hands. So that was my week, in addition to regular stuff that I'm watching. I think I have told you about Secrets of Sulphur Springs on Disney Plus. It concluded its first season last week, and I'm bummed because who knows when it will be back. But it's a fun show. It's for kids, but it's time travel and it's good. I said that last week, so I won't go into more detail, but check it out. All right, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you, folks at home, for joining us. We will, of course, be back next Friday on April 23rd, the day before my second shot, and 2 days before Son's shot. And the rest of you, I don't know when you've gotten your shots. So
Monday.
Whenever you get them, good luck. And until then, we'll see you then. And we will be doing our post-show segment, Florida Band. Stick around. Keyboard Cat, play us out. Supposed to dance right now. There you go.
And remember, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Indeed. Okay.
All right.
Can't hear you, Justin.
Spay and neuter your pets and wear condom for safe sex.
And masks. Don't forget your masks.
Did it even play out?
We played out.
Like,
I don't think they're gonna let you. I don't think they're gonna let it go. They really should.
He's having a session with Lane.
Yes.
We understand.
I love the slow turn lane. That needs to be a GIF.
Oh yeah, slow turn Lane and side eye Lane.
Is Lane spayed?
He's a Buizel.
Okay, so is Lane neutered?
I think Travis is appropriately offended by that. It's a very personal question.
Lane, I think it's time for us to go to bed.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, we're going to stick around for Florida Man.
Lane is breeding stock, so don't you be daring.
Lane is breeding stock. Is he really? That's kind of depressing. It's just a piece of meat to you?
What? No! He's a certified stallion, baby.
Oh, there you go.
Texas.
Okay.
I think it's time for us to go.
Come on, Travis. Come on, Travis. You know you want to say it. You know you want to say it. This one.
He's not gonna. If only we had an Oreo cookie.
He already said it this episode. You weren't paying attention.
Yeah, no, I remember he said it's something I said, so I feel fulfilled.
I'm
sure
bringing
all-
cookies next episode.
How about you?
Florida
Phil?
man used stolen credit cards to purchase over $60,000 worth of Universal Orlando Resort vacation packages.
Wow.
You guys have fun with Florida man. I'm
You know,
gonna
speaking
go.
of
Thanks, Travis and Lane.
Florida man, I had a weird thing today. I had a decline thing on my debit card, which I've never seen or heard of this place before. But someone was apparently trying to buy some cosplay stuff. I'm like, okay, so I had to call the bank. Still that today. Okay.
Okay, this
You guys
one's
have-
kind of disgusting, but it's quintessential Florida man. Florida man urinates on self to try to wash away evidence of sexual assault on girl.
Florida man.
Wow.
I mean,
Holy shit!
literally, wow.
Spring Mayflowers.
Oh, he really tried to think outside of the box on that one. Like, wow.
Yeah.
What were you thinking, man?
He was
Spring Mayflowers.
He was
Poor
trying to
Force and
use. Well, look. He was thinking as smart as any Florida man. He was using his own urine to sterilize.
Oh, God.
I only in case of jellyfish sting. That's my line.
Oh,
Florida man spent 30 years building a medieval castle. Which
I was just gonna put that one.
Which features a toilet with a strategically placed escape hatch to one of the turrets, quote unquote.
Strategically placed. I like it. If you want to see a picture of the medieval castle, and which is now on for sale, he put it up for sale. I just posted it in chat, Justin, for you to share with the folks at home. It's not that impressive looking as far as medieval castles go.
I get going. Yeah, but kind of a weak sauce.
He wants $825,000 for this.
For this?
Yeah.
Can I just say I love the quote that he gave this article? I saw a book on castles at the library and found Lohort, which is a small castle. I said, hey, I can build that.
I can build that.
Remember, he spent 3 decades building this thing.
Yeah.
He's
I know
a go-getter,
YouTubers
man.
have bigger houses.
It's four, but if you're considering buying it for the $825,000 asking price, it comes with, you need to know, it comes with 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, 2 fireplaces, a 3-car detached garage, which was very popular back in the medieval times.
Carlos, if any one of our listeners had that type of money, do you really think they would be listening to this show?
They very well might.
Hey, rich people like to lower themselves all the time.
Yeah, they like to slum. I referenced my comment last week about a certain musical instrument having intercourse. Andrew,
That must have been the Travis and Lane thing.
probably poor Lane.
Damn it.
Poor Lane.
You'll have to rehash that next week, Andrew, before Travis leaves.
So
Indeed.
there's an update on the fake Botox nurse thing.
Oh yeah, what's up with that?
Florida woman Botox nurse who preyed on elderly in phone scam found with 170 pounds of marijuana stuffed in suitcases in her bathroom.
Wow.
She had a go supply since whenever.
She was trying.
That's a lot of pot.
So she was basically trying to be the Florida woman equivalent of that DeLorean guy.
Or she was trying to run off for weed.
Well, here's one that just goes to show you that if you go around saying you're a lawyer, it's not a good idea.
Oh, you mean like a certain jackass we know?
I wasn't going to go into any detail, but in Florida, there was a man who posed as an immigration lawyer who was sentenced to 20 years in prison for pretending to be
Florida man.
lawyer.
That's an oddly specific field of law to act like to act and practice.
You know why, though, right?
Why? What was the context?
There's a lot of money in it because a lot of immigrants are trying to get green
I think
cards.
son just broke herself.
And the process is very, very complicated. And, you really need a lawyer to walk you through it. So,
Son,
constant source of money.
are you okay?
I feel really bad for anybody that paid the guy.
I'm fine. I just have to read this fucking headline.
Do it.
Because it's going to break all of you.
Okay.
Oh God.
Florida woman believing to be Harry Potter while actually having Snape as last name arrested for potentially killing a federal judge with her car.
Wow.
Least magical thing ever.
She didn't even use the Avara.
I guess she thought she was trying to get the Hufflepuff.
That's a roller coaster of a fucking headline.
That is.
You're telling me she didn't run someone over with a broom? I feel robbed in this story. What happened? No magic?
Well, of course she used
on magic shrooms.
She used Avada Kedavra.
That's the one, the Cardabra.
I gotta give it to Sun though. Like as soon as she started that, like 3 words in, I was already gone.
Yeah, that is.
When she gets to her laugh, and she really gets going, there's something. I actually have a WAV file of her. Somewhere on here with one of her laughs, and it definitely.
Florida man jumps a rising drawbridge in a Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yeah, that video is not as impressive as you think it is.
It's really not. I've seen that video.
The only thing impressive about that is the property damage done to the little drawbridge arm thing.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's one of those stories that the headline's better than the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Florida man claimed to be special agent tased after resisting arrest.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Don't resist arrest.
Man, word for a treat impersonating lawyers and special agents? Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's a thing in Florida, I guess.
So,
dude, it's one big costume party.
Well, here's one. Florida man figured it was cool under the Trump administration to steal $7 million in coronavirus relief fund money and use it to buy a house and a Maserati. Then got scared, fled to Croatia after Biden was elected, where he got caught anyway.
In Croatia.
I just want to put this out. I hate Amazon ads. Because I just hate Amazon ads. This is why.
Here is. Wait, what are we looking at? An Amazon ad? What the hell? Is that a toilet coffee cup?
A toilet coffee cup.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I have here from the Atlantic magazine, a poem entitled Florida Man, a poem for the congressman from Florida. That would be Matt Gaetz, in case you're wondering. Florida man, great head of hair, studio tan. If I were hitching up in the Everglades and you pulled up, I'd be afraid. I wouldn't climb into your minivan, your swamp mobile, oh Florida man. I'd wait for a ride with an honest trucker, anyone but you, you sleazy fucker. Florida man.
Carl, your mouth.
It's poetry.
That's magnificent.
It's poetry in motion. Unfortunately, it's diarrhea.
That is.
Hey, Carlos, what about you being called out by that Georgia man?
Oh, sound
That Georgia
and
man
fury.
is such a peach, isn't he?
Oh,
Georgia people.
Florida
Oh.
woman who showed up for a party a year ago and never left, fatally shot after exchanging gunfire with police.
she what? She was invited to a party and never left, and
She showed up for a party. Yeah, the quote is showed up for a party a year ago and never left, unquote. It's fatally shot after exchanging gunfire with police.
She was not leaving without
How does
party
that work?
favors.
How does that work?
She wanted her goodie bag.
well, maybe the owners of the place tried to kick her out, and she wouldn't go, and then she put up a fight.
Imagine that police call. We invited someone to a party and they just won't leave. Please get rid of them. That's glorious. Just saying.
Here's some particulars on the fake immigration lawyer for you, Raina. The Florida man promised immigrants licenses and work permits. Instead, he stole their money and got them deported.
Oh.
Which, if you think about it, is brilliant, because if they're deported, you'll have their money and they're out of the country. There's no way they can bring charges against you, except, for the federal government doing it. But, sorry for that.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. The federal government can only charge him with being a fraud more than they can taking all of the money that he defrauded people.
Right, but he is in prison for 20 years.
Good.
God, it's horrible to rob people, like, just any sense of hope in that regard. Ugh. Scam artists disgust me sometimes.
Yeah, they're brazen.
Speaking of scammers, you know what else is wrong?
What?
Taking money from people 6 years on a promise that you're going to make something and not fulfill it.
He's talking about Axonar, folks at home, in case you're wondering. Okay, so here's one. Florida man walking to Zion National Park on journey to become a better man.
Hey,
How very
Oh, he's
wholesome.
going to move out of the state.
I was there
That's the
last
only
week,
thing that
remember?
confused them.
Yes, you were there last week. It sounds like another.
Following my footsteps.
It sounds like another Florida man we know, one Ensign Beard Fasse, who is also originally a Florida man, and
That
is also now in Utah, home of Zion National Park. So there you
It
have
also
it.
explains a lot.
Yeah, there you have it.
Yes, Jason, I'm talking smack about you because you're not here. You slacker.
Beard Fasse. Okay, anybody else? Any other Florida man stories?
Not any of that, like, I mean, like, there's an update. Like, there's jail time for the Florida woman who coughed on the cancer patient.
Oh, yeah.
They actually gave her jail time for that.
Good.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. I don't even want to look at this one because it says Florida man wears feather boa at age 67, gets booed on national TV.
Oh.
Okay.
It went now?
Okay.
Ooh.
Florida man wears feather boa at age 67 and gets booed on national TV.
Okay, here's a good one, you guys. From a website called The Friendly Atheist. The Bible makes way more sense as a series of Florida man stories. There is no. Let me give you the link. You can share it with with the folks at home.
You can stretch out a whole lot of food if you deep fry it. That makes the loaves and fishes story like Florida man.
Wow.
It says there's no better framing for the Bible than treating it as a series of Florida man stories. It's a lot more realistic.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
And so on Reddit, this happened on Reddit. So Redditor asked people for their favorite Florida man Bible stories, and commenters delivered. Here's a sampling. Disoriented Florida man found on the beach claims to have spent the last 3 days in the stomach of large fish. Florida man goes on roid rage and kills hundreds with the jawbone of an ass, gets stripped of his manhood by Florida stripper. Florida man caught with bag containing 200 foreskins of men from his neighboring community. Reports indicate this is the same individual who killed local heavyweight celebrity by flinging a pebble at his head several years ago as teen.
For those of you who don't know, that's Samson and then David.
And then David, right. And Jonah was the first one. Next one, there's a Florida woman. Florida women fight over baby until Florida man threatens to cut it in half. That is wise King Solomon for the folks at home.
Wow.
This is gangbusters,
This is some
man.
good stuff.
Yeah, Florida man spends entire night in lion enclosure, emerges next day unharmed.
And these sound very possible for Florida.
Daniel.
They really do. Daniel, yes. Florida man claims superhuman strength until Florida woman cuts off his mullet.
That's Samson again.
And Delilah. Florida man whose wife went missing claims she, quote, turned into something that looked like bath salts, unquote.
Wow.
Not a
Wow.
Laura.
Lot and his wife. Okay, and the final one of the sample. Florida man paints door with sheep's blood, said it was to protect his firstborn son.
Passover.
And there are more on that Reddit thread, which it links to from the story that I provided a link to. It says there are so many more where those came from, and now the Bible finally makes sense.
It really does. I mean, and it Florida man fits so well. That's scary. But there you have
That
it.
is
Bible's really a bunch of Florida man stories.
the friendly atheist, folks at home. That's all I got for Florida man stories this week.
Wow.
But that was a good send off, though, wasn't it?
We might have to read some of those.
Yeah.
next week.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, jawbone of an ass, man.
That's as entertaining as the guy we talked about last week who drove the ambulance into like a fucking ditch and then has the David Bowie like lightning bolt on his face.
Yeah.
Can I just say I really like this one? We got Florida man screams, "Yeah, pull his leg off" during a theatrical performance.
Wait, say that again?
It's Florida man screams, "Yeah, pull his leg off" during theatrical performance.
Wow.
Talk about shaking the leg.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Florida
All
man.
right. Well, I think that's
it. Well, I've got to
Sort it
head out
out.
because I have a early morning appointment. So
Oh, wait. Okay, I can't believe they passed up this gold because it's actually a comment thread. Okay, so here's the Florida man story. Florida man kills his brother in a field and says he was, quote, jealous of what the Lord gave him. There's a follow-up. The update says he tried burying the body multiple times, but the ground refuses to take his body and keeps unburying it. That
Florida
is Cain
man.
and Abel, everybody.
That is Cain and Abel.
we're gonna have to read some of those next week. Just
Yes. Brother claims
to throw it in the mix.
Brother claims I ain't keeping watch over him.
Florida man tries to kill daughter-in-law for getting pregnant during sex work. Plot twist, he is the father of her child.
Oh my God. That's like trying to
Are you
have
sure
your
that's
cake.
not Kentucky?
That's like trying to have your cake and eat it too.
That's Tamar and Judah.
I think it we may have reached that time, Stalwart Justin.
Yes. All right,
Play
everybody.
us out, keyboard
And
cat.
it's time to go. We'll see everybody next week. Remember, use protection.
Oh my God!
Oh, there's another one.
Obese Florida man stabbed to death. Weapon lost in fatty folds. Bonus, murderer escapes because victims tend to think he's using the bathroom.
That sounds more like a Game of Thrones thing. Well, there you have it. All right, place out, Keyboard Cat.